my beautiful little unicorns, and welcome back to my channel. If this is the first time that you're in this magical space, my name is Vanessa and I, your favorite tarot reader here on YouTube, and today I'm going to help you uncover all of the details about the next big unforeseen changes that are coming for you. And in order to help you figure out exactly what those changes are, I have 4 groups prepared for you, and I would like you to pick one of these 4 groups intuitively. And just so you know, my beautiful unicorn babies, I am going to be taking my sweet time with all 4 of these groups. So feel free to receive your psychic prediction in whichever way suits you, whether that's sitting down and enjoying a cup of tea, whether you're in the car and driving somewhere, or you're taking a walk, working out, whatever it is that you're doing. This is your time and your space to figure out exactly what big unforeseen changes are coming towards you next, so you can feel prepared, confident, and relaxed about the upcoming steps in your life. So as you saw within the intro, our space is cleansed and we're ready to get to know the 4 groups so you can pick the right one for you. So let's get into it. Group number 1 corresponds to the Mystic Mondays tarot deck, as well as the following sound. Group number 2 corresponds to the Tarot of the Divine, as well as the following sound. Group number 3 corresponds to the Modern Witch Tarot deck, as well as the following sound. And group number 4 corresponds to the Divine Feather Messenger deck, as well as the following sound. All 4 groups are listed below in the description box, as well as pinned to the top of the comment section for quick and easy access. So all you need to do is click your group and you'll be fast forwarded to the relevant part of this video where you can receive your psychic prediction. And if you're finding it challenging to intuitively select one of these 4 groups, or you feel as though your intuition has been a little shaky as of recently, feel free to close your eyes right here, take a little moment, and then point at an area of the screen that you feel most connected towards. And whichever one of these 4 groups is closest to that point is the one that I recommend that you intuitively go for. And if it's a tie between 2 groups, then you know that your personal reading may be a mixture between multiple groups, so therefore always feel free to tune into more than one reading. So I'm about to get into all of your readings, and before I do so, I would like to take a moment to thank today's sponsor. Hello all my beautiful little unicorns, Vanessa and I here. So as you all know by now, in today's pick a card reading video, we're going to be talking about the next big unexpected changes that are coming towards you. And while I believe that we can all agree with change being an inevitable experience as a human being, practicing mindfulness as well as sticking to a healthy sleeping pattern is so crucial during these times, which is why I feel so fortunate for the fabulous Aura app to be sponsoring this particular video. Aura is a special app for mindfulness as well as sleep, and it comes with thousands of different meditations. It's got topics such as spirituality, life coaching, breathwork, and CBT for you to choose from and access anytime you need. Aura's content is created by hundreds of expert coaches as well as therapists from all over the world. And one thing that's fantastic about Aura is that it knew exactly what types of guides that I liked and recommended those to me on a regular basis. There are hundreds of expert guides from diverse backgrounds, so it's not like other apps where you've got a one-size-fits-all approach. You can really find someone who resonates with you on Aura, which is what makes it so special and different. I love that it's intelligent and personalized, as it uses billions of different little data points in order to make it as effective as possible for my needs when it comes to my wellness as well as my sleep pattern. And Aura helps me get to sleep on time, which allows me to start my day feeling invigorated as well as super energetic. So I would like to thank Aura for supporting me on my journey of well-being as well as sleep. And I'm excited to announce that you can do the same. You can get Aura for free today by using my link below in the description box. So the first 500 beautiful little unicorns who click and use my link will not only get their free trial, but you will also receive 25% off once you've been convinced of Aura during your trial membership. So make sure you use the link below to check out Aura. I know there are some amazing coaches and therapists on there that will resonate with you. And now we'll get back into the video so we can discuss all of the next big unforeseen changes that are coming towards you. So I will now get into all of your predictions, starting off with the Mystic Mondays Tarot deck. So if this is the group that you chose, then please continue watching. And to all of my other lovely groups, I will catch you at the click of your timestamp. Hello, group number 1, Vanessa Somuayina here, and welcome to your reading. So you chose the Mystic Mondays Tarot deck in order to help guide you to figure out what the next big unforeseen changes are that are coming towards you. But fear not, we've got plenty other decks that we're going to be using, as well as some runes too. But let's get into your reading, shall we? We'll start off with general changes and general things that will impact your life shortly. Ooh, we've got 2 cards that popped right out of the pile in case you didn't see. I'll put a little instant replay right here for you to view group number 1, but let's get into it, shall we? So we've got the 7 of Wands as well as the Temperance card. Let's first talk about the Temperance card, because the Temperance card belongs to the Major Arcana, which is meaningful when it comes to big life events that are taking place within your existence. So the Temperance card is connected to Sagittarius, and it is the card of education as well as travel, but also, of course, taking everything as it comes, finding balance as well as health. And I see here within the 7 of Wands that there's definitely a part of you that does not want to take things as easily as you most likely should. Okay, there is a big part of you that is resisting, as I can see here, when really what you should try to do is go with the flow and listen to your body. So group number 1, if you have recently been overworking yourself or working way more than you should to the point that your body is tired, but you're not listening, you're still going to bed late, getting up early, working inhumane hours and not taking any breaks, then this is calling you out, okay? If your body has been urging you to be moved, to get some fresh air, to get some healthy foods and calories in, but you've been denying yourself of that, you've been denying your body of this privilege, then know that you are being called out here by the universe, that this is a change that you need to make and that you can no longer continue to treat yourself with a kind of slight lack of compassion and care by putting work and maybe other people's agendas before your own health. So that's what the Temperance and the 7 of Wands card is trying to say to you. And as you can see, group number 1, this is a very honest, real space. I hope you can appreciate that. I'm the type of reader that will tell you very bluntly and directly what messages it is that we're receiving, no matter whether those are calling you out, whether those are supportive, loving messages, or whether you're being pointed towards an area of your life where you could make changes that would benefit you in the long term. I see here within the Empress that a next big change that's coming for you is actually an increase in attractiveness on a physical level, especially. The Empress is a card that not only corresponds to fertility, but it is also one that shows that abundance is around you and you're connected to your most natural state. Now, your most natural state doesn't necessarily mean natural in the sense of never wearing any makeup or being nude very much or wearing anything that is like quote unquote natural in that sense, if you know what I mean. Because to you, natural may be wearing very elaborate outfits or wearing a hairstyle that took a very long time to get exactly as it is. That may be the state in which you feel the most natural. So don't feel as though natural only has one look. Natural depends on how you feel comfortable. Now, we all feel comfortable in different ways, group number one. Some of us feel comfortable in jeans and a t-shirt, while others feel comfortable in a Disney princess dress. So it really depends on you, but I want you to know here within the Empress that coming back to your most natural state and the way how you feel the most attractive, no matter what anyone else may say or think, is what's coming next. And this is going to be a big change, because rather than fearing what others may say behind your back or think of you, you're just embracing yourself authentically. So keep in mind that it is so essential to also take care of your physical needs, right? And don't neglect them. Don't deny yourself of some healthy activities just because you're wanting to put work first or some sort of hustle that you're going after first. You are so important, group number one. Next up, we've got the Two of Pentacles. Now, the Two of Pentacles is an interesting card as it corresponds to juggling two different things, flexibility and also fun. And that is exactly what you're being called to do, right? Being flexible between different things and not being afraid to have fun. So while you're juggling work, your personal life, maybe an interesting love story as well, have fun with all of this going on. Remember here in the Temperance card that we have a major arcana card that corresponds to the sign of Sagittarius, of who the ruler is Jupiter. And this sign is relentlessly optimistic. This sign is super fun and honest and also kind of restless and scattered at times. And it is completely okay to feel like everything is all over the place. You don't have to have it all figured out, but rather than feeling stressed, you're being called to learn to thrive in that environment when it does arise. And just have fun. Just simply have a good time. Don't let a lot of things happening all at once stress you out so much, group number one. Next up, we've got the Knight of Cups as well as the Eight of Pentacles. So the Knight of Cups and the Eight of Pentacles show me here that when it comes to work, there's going to be someone who will help you become really great at your craft. So no matter what your craft is, group one, and know here that someone who has strong, dependable earth sign energy, who is reliable and knows what they're doing, is going to teach you how to take things to the next level. So whether you are an artist, a teacher, or you work a 9-to-5 job, you are going to experience a rapid increase in your skill level because you're learning from someone who has accomplished what you want to do before you and is now passing that knowledge on and is bringing it to you in a very convenient way. So maybe you're listening to a podcast, or you're reading a book, or you're going to seminars by someone who you feel inspired by, and that in turn will really help you take things to the next level when it comes to your career. Next up, we've got the Two of Swords reversed. So this card showing up reversed shows that you're, rather than avoiding things, you're confronting them, because this card upright actually speaks of a lot of avoidance and just trying to sweep things under the rug. But I see here within the Two of Swords reversed for you that you are unblocking emotions that you were too afraid to express in the past. And this is bringing some big changes with it, but very positive ones, because you're asking questions that you may have been too afraid to ask in the past. And it's really attractive to see you thriving and to see you be comfortable in your own skin. So that's where we have this glow up scenario coming towards you in the Empress too. Then we've got the Moon. Now the Moon is a super interesting major arcana card. Let me tell you why. The Moon corresponds to the sign of Pisces, and it is a very changeable kind of energy, right? The Moon shows that some things are illusions, and it's all about fear management. And I can see here within the Moon that rather than letting your thoughts freak you out and thinking that you can't balance everything at once, remind yourself here that certain things are just illusions. This is a really crazy world that we live in. Just think about something like the concept of money, for example, group number one. It's not a real thing, right? It's just paper. It's not like that paper actually is worth $100 if you're holding $100 bill, right? Whether it's a $1 bill or a $100 bill, that paper is the same. It's not like the paper is worth anything more or less. It is like a value that we as human beings assign to it, and we say, okay, if you've worked this many hours, this is how high of an amount of this paper that you receive. And just knowing that actually everything in a sense is made up, whether it is the value of money or, time and how much you're supposed to work to get X amount of vacation time, to get X amount of time to yourself. These are things that can kind of help you not only calm yourself, but remind yourself that it's not that serious, okay? We have just made things to feel a lot more real than in a lot of cases they really need to be, and you can figure everything out in due course, especially if you're worried about your work and your career. Try not to overthink it. Remind yourself that if we as human beings can place so much value on something that isn't even real, surely you can find a way to make enough money or enough time to live a life that you feel happy living. Next up, we've got the Four of Pentacles. You just have to be frugal. I see here in some unexpected big changes that are coming for you. There is this very frugal side to you that does not want to spend money unnecessarily and on things that you don't need, and this will work out amazingly well for you. Also, listen to your intuition. That's what the moon stands for, as the moon reminds you that your gut feeling usually knows best. And if you're looking for a larger purchase, such as a home or a vehicle, maybe just an item that costs a lot of money that you have been looking to purchase for a long time, the Four of Pentacles shows me that it's not the time right now for that, group number one. And some of the things that you may see or discover may not really be what they seem to be. We have that here in connectivity to the moon. So looking at a home, for example, be very careful, as not everything is as it seems at this moment in time as you're watching this video, group number one. So there may be some sort of critter infestation in a home that on the outside looks perfect. There could be water damage. A vehicle that you're maybe looking at purchasing and putting a lot of money down for maybe does not run in the way that the previous owner says that it does. Maybe the dealership is also not giving you the best deal if it's a new vehicle, for example. So group one, right now everything is a little fishy, especially things that have to do with large sums of money, and it's best for you to just follow your intuition and not make any impulsive decisions. Hold off on large purchases right now and allow for yourself to kind of focus on growing when it comes to your skill level in your career first, and also finding balance to do some things that help you recuperate and regain your strength. Next up, we've got the Page of Pentacles. Feeling inspired, that's what I see in the Page of Pentacles. And kind of knowing where you're going next, but not really, and that being okay. Being very open-minded to different career paths. I see that that is the best thing you can do right now, because with the Four of Pentacles and the Page of Pentacles, I see that you have not really sought out or reached your highest potential when it comes to your career and your money-making abilities, and there's still much to come for you. So don't settle too much for one job or one position. The King of Wands here shows me that you've got some great leadership qualities that are going for you, as the King of Wands is connected to the element of fire, which represents Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius energy, which is really fun and enthusiastic as well as spontaneous. Now, the King of Wands is someone who is very creative and inspiring, and they can be super bold as well. And if you don't feel like you've been able to show that side of yourself just yet in your career, then know that you have not even scraped the surface. You still have so much to experience and so many different heights to reach. Financially speaking, but also when it comes to the level of recognition that you'll receive within your career. So we have a few cards that popped out of the pile. We've got the moon for you again, group number one. So remind yourself here, right now, not everything is as it seems. Be really careful with large purchases and people who are trying to sell you something that you really need to take your time with and check out more by an expert. I see here within the devil that being impulsive and just doing things on a whim, that is going to cause some big changes that are disruptive. So don't do that. If you're trying to purchase a home, make sure that you get as many experts as possible to look at the property before you say yes to anything. As I see here within the Nine of Pentacles, that you have assets to protect. And the best way to do that is to ensure that you are putting up as many little safety procedures as you possibly can. Next up, within the Two of Cups here, we've got a romantic situation that is looking really interesting, but I am going to go into love specifically in another spread. So whether you're single or in a relationship, group number one, we're going to talk about that in more detail, but this is a good foreshadowing of your romantic situation. Then we've got the Seven of Pentacles. Let's just zoom in here. The Seven of Pentacles, the Death card, as well as the Knight of Wands. Let's talk about the Death card, as a lot of people get very nervous when they see that. So let's talk about it first. The Death card is actually a card of transformation. It corresponds to the number 13, and it is part of the major arcana, and the Death card is also connected to the sign of Scorpio. It also speaks of sexuality and sensuality, so that is where I can see here that you're being a little bit more conservative. I see that with the Four of Pentacles as well as the Seven of Pentacles here, that you're in a place where you know what you want and you don't want to do anything wild or crazy for someone who you're not committed to. And even if you are in a committed relationship, you are in a space where you don't want to do anything that makes you feel uncomfortable, which shows a lot of maturity. And I see within the Knight of Wands that that brings a change of how people see you. So they don't just see you here within the Empress as like a object of desire. They see you as a real person with feelings, with very valid opinions, a person who is intelligent, who has more to offer than just their body. And this is definitely something that you're going to feel more and more that's coming as a change. Like, people find the new, more mature you to be someone who is easy to respect and easy to look up to. Not that people should ever struggle to respect others, but let's be real. A lot of times there are certain people who are overlooked in this society, and it is so important that we change that as a whole. And I can see here within the Knight of Wands that by changing your energy, you're changing the fact that people aren't quick to disrespect you moving forward. Within reflection, I do see that you're thinking a lot about all the things that you've done for other people, where you were met with some outcomes that were not favorable. Like, for example, helping another person and them then taking off and kind of barely even saying thank you, right? And not doing the same favor back. And I do see that you're becoming more, I would like to say stingy with your time, but it's not stingy, group number one. It actually just shows that you are mindful of your time and that you reflect before you make any types of plans with people with whom you actually don't want to make plans with. So you don't even put yourself in a predicament where you have to find an excuse later down the line. Next up, we've got determination. And next big unforeseen change that is coming towards you is just this huge increase in determination to get things done, to change things for the better within your life. And I want to find out within which area by using some of my runes. So this can get a little loud, group number one. Let's figure out exactly what rune would like to speak. Okay, let's do a close-up so we can identify this rune. Now, this rune actually corresponds to Turisas, which is reflective of the letters T and H, and it speaks of catharsis as well as change, which is what we spoke about within determination, right? That you're determined to make some changes for the better, that you're determined to make changes in areas of your life that used to be challenging. And next up, we've got, I believe, Sowilo or Sowulo, however you'd like to name this rune. Both names are valid, and it corresponds to the letter S within our alphabet. And it stands for the sun, for energy, life force, health, and success. So you're definitely determined to change things when it comes to your health, mentally as well as physically, group number one. And I can see here that you're not going to let anything get in the way of that. So if you've always wanted to gain or lose weight, you're finally finding the right exercise regimen and diet to get you to that goal. If you've always wanted to take better care of your health and make doctor's appointments that you usually put off and finally stick to them, such as dentist appointments, just general health checkups, you're doing that now. You're putting money on the side for that, and you're ensuring that you're taking good care of your life force, because life isn't a sprint, it's a marathon. It's so essential that you stay healthy and mobile for as long as you possibly can. I see here within fear that one thing that kicks in and makes a big change is fear when you're looking at other people and how they're getting along. I see within the Seven of Pentacles and the Fear card that there's someone who is struggling physically around you. So it could be, for example, an older kind of grandparent or parent, someone who you once saw being a lot more independent, and now they're slowly but surely losing that independence, or you can just see how they're heading in that direction. And I do see here that you're fearful of turning out in the same way or having to go through that. And you want to make sure that you are as strong physically and mentally as you possibly can be, not just for yourself, but also for the other people within your life. So here within Mystery, I can see that there are many things that you're still unsure about that you're finally learning to uncover. So there are some changes coming in areas of your life that seemed really mysterious and secretive, and they're finally being opened up and revealed. So we're now going to move into another part of your prediction where we talk about your love changes that are taking place, your romantic situation. So I will now cleanse and clear this space for you so we can move into the topic of love when it comes to the next big unforeseen changes that are coming towards you, group number one. So bear with me as I clear out the space so we can just figure out more details, more information than a type of general overview. I hope that you've been enjoying your reading up until this point. Make sure to leave a little green tea emoji below in the comment section to let me and others know that you're having a good time, chilling, relaxing, enjoying yourself as I get further into your reading. I also have a really cool project that's coming very soon, group number one. And I just know that you're going to absolutely love this. Little hint, it has to do with cards. That's all I'm going to say. Make sure you watch the space, but now let's continue on in your reading through the topic of love and the big unforeseen changes that are coming in your love life, group number one. Okay, group number one. Now let's talk about the unexpected big changes that are coming towards you with an emphasis on love, looking at your romantic situation. We've got the Ascendant as well as Virgo. So there is a change coming towards your love life with someone who is an Ascendant Virgo. Now, in case you didn't know, Virgo is a sign that corresponds to the element of earth. These signs are very practical, they're loyal and grounded, and Virgos specifically are ruled by Mercury. Virgo is someone who is very detail-oriented and service-minded. They're someone who will always help you whenever you're in a difficult situation, and they're the type of person who's a really hard worker. So loyalty as well as hard work, that's what I see here within this Virgo ascendant person that we have making a big wave in your love life, group number one. So they are definitely entering your love life. They're the type of person who is is going to make waves, but in a good way for you. Then we've got the Descendant as well as Aquarius. So here within Aquarius, we've got someone who is ruled by Uranus. And Aquarius energy is very fun and independent and also in a way rebellious. So I do see here that we've got some important Aquarius placements. Furthermore, within Aquarius, being ruled by Uranus just shows that individuality as well as changeability is important within your love life. We've also got Taurus as well as Pallas Athena. So I do see here that we've got some Taurus placements within this person as well. And in Pallas Athena, I can see here that they're someone who takes time to think through plans before acting. So someone will impact your love life and make a big change within your love life, who is well thought out, someone who isn't impulsive and who definitely takes their time to figure out what they want to do next before they take any steps forward. They're also very individualistic, as we spoke about here within Aquarius as well as Descendant, and they're the type of person who always kind of invites new energy in. That's what I see with Aquarius and Descendant. So a very fun, rebellious, active type of person, but they still have common sense. So that's what kind of makes the big difference between them and people who are just as fun as rebellious, but kind of very impulsive. So next up, we've got the Carrot as well as the Snapdragon. So group 1 in the Carrot, I can see here that this is someone who is all about clarity, being real, open, and honest. So you've got someone making a big change within your love life who will tell you exactly how it is. The Snapdragon shows purification, which stands for them clearing out any type of indecisive, unwanted, unclear energies to make room for things being crystal clear in a way that there are no misunderstandings. The Beetroot shows me some passion in your love life and that changing, as well as in the Stock, I can see that that's like the new focal point. So rather than doing very specific things romantically, you're more focused on what feels good and what you feel passionate about. So rather than trying to be intimate so and so many times with a lover, or trying to do certain things that are expected when it comes to intimacy, group number 1, you're focusing more on what you're passionate about, what makes you feel good, what you think you and your partner enjoy. And it doesn't have to be what the media portrays as normal. Maybe for you, a night just cuddling, watching Netflix, and cooking an amazing meal together, maybe that is what you're passionate about and what kind of really gets your motor going, so to say, group number 1, rather than, just a passionate makeout session or something like that. Maybe you just need more intimacy, more depth, more mental stimulation, and that's totally cool and okay. And you're exploring that rather than doing what we see on the internet and on TV and what's portrayed as passion. Maybe for you and your intimate relationship, it's something else, group number 1. And I do want you to know here that this reading is not only for singles, this is definitely also for those of you who are in a committed relationship. Do know here within the 6 of Pentacles that you're finding balance between making money and your relationship, and also finding balance in the relationship, because sometimes it can be a little awkward when it's unclear who's paying for what and who has what type of financial responsibilities in the relationship. But I can see that you're clearing that all up and you're making it a priority to find balance. So if you, for example, earn more than the person who you're seeing, romantically speaking, then you're maybe going to help out by taking a few more responsibilities on deck, and vice versa, right? If the person who you're seeing is able to sustain a life that is financially a little bit more free, then they're taking over a little bit more of the bills. So there is that balance there, because when true commitment is there, nobody's worried about the extra pennies that they're spending in certain areas of the relationship. You really do need to worry when someone is wanting to split everything down the middle meticulously, whether they're truly as committed as they say that they are, right? Because if you're okay with spending a little bit of extra money on a dinner or on household items or going out with them, but they're kind of being really stingy all the time, then that can often be a red flag to look out for, group number one. Next up, we've got the Knight of Swords. Now in the Knight of Swords, I can see you being very direct and honest about these topics, and that's what's really needed, because sometimes people are just oh so very frugal and they want to get away with being super frugal, but they will enjoy the things that you offer them, and that's where you have to just be really direct and honest and just say, hey, I'm not here to offer some free joyrides and free things in any sense of the way without you doing the same every now and then and reciprocating. Next up, in the Ace of Pentacles, I can see that a big unforeseen change when it comes to your love life that you did not see coming is that there's a change in careers and in your professional life that's coming towards you that will make a really big impact and big wave within your romantic life. So you feeling more fulfilled because what you're doing is just right up your alley and more in alignment with what you need emotionally speaking. This will affect your love life really positively, because just think about it. If you're feeling really fulfilled with what you're doing on a daily basis, then of course, when you come home or when you spend time with a lover, you're going to be in a way better mood. You're going to feel way better about yourself and your existence, and that's going to reflect in your entire vibe and mood and how you talk to your partner. So do know here within the Ace of Pentacles that this is a really great change. The Sun confirms this. The Sun just really hits the nail on the head, as the Sun is one of the most favorable cards within the tarot. It is not only representative of life force and happiness and warmth, but the Sun definitely shows here that we have a lot of good fortune coming towards you. So group number one, I am really happy with this assurance that we're getting here from the Sun, and with this just kind of energy of vitality that we have here within your love life. So things are looking really good for your romantic situation, group number one. Let's see how you're feeling and how these big unexpected changes are going to affect your love life moving forward. We've got determination. So I hope you can see this. I hope that it's visible, because sometimes these cards can be a little hard to decipher, but my camera is in 4K, so you should be able to see it. Group number one, determination, shows me here that it's going to make you feel super determined to continue to stay in a healthy situation romantically, and it may even fuel your determination to take the relationship to the next level. I see here within hunger, wow, that there's something that you really want here in this relationship. There's something that you really want to add into the situation, and I want to use some runes to figure out exactly what that may be, group number one. Let's see what we've got here. Okay, there we go. Pretty sure we've got Uruz here. Yeah, this is Uruz, group number one, which stands for strength. It is also representative of the ox, and it shows a lot of power and courage. So I do see you wanting to take this relationship to the next level, wanting to put a little bit of extra power into this situation in order to ensure that this relationship is meant to last and that you're getting everything out of it that you desire. I see here within mystery that you want to try something new that you've never tried before. So new levels of commitment, right? Whether that be an engagement, a marriage, whether that be starting a family, I can see determination and hunger from you to build this fort of your own, this family situation of your own, whether that is by adding extra family members or just solidifying the relationship, maybe moving in together and purchasing your own home. Let's add another rune into your reading. Okay, what do we have here? Let's decipher this rune together. This is Dagas, which corresponds to the letter D within our alphabet. And Dagas is all about a breakthrough. Dagas is representative of daylight as well as awareness and having these epiphanies and the sense of enlightenment. And that is also what the sun stands for, group number 1. So I do see that something that was once a mystery that you were not sure of is going to come to light. It's going to be illuminated when it comes to love, and you're finally going to know exactly what's up. So there are no secrets with your person, group number 1. The big changes are going to be that you know exactly what you want next in this relationship and connection, and that there's no longer going to be this air of not knowing what your person wants or what your relationship status is, but the mystery is going to lie in what big step comes next with this person, rather than questioning whether this person really wants to be with you or how they feel about you, group number 1. So this is the reading that I've received for you so far about the next big unforeseen changes that are coming for you. I will clear the space one last time in order to figure out any more details that there may be about your career, maybe your social aspects. So just give me a moment to do that. Continue to lean back, relax, and enjoy. This is your time and your space, group number 1. And I really want you to make the most out of this self-care that you're bringing into your day. You should be proud of yourself for taking a moment to self-reflect, to connect with the cards, with Source and the universe, and putting your needs first. Okay, group number 1, are you ready to move a little deeper into your reading? So we've got faith in the process that popped right out of the pile, as well as shock of the new, and a conscious connections. So I do see here that some big unforeseen changes are going to shock you, okay? It's going to be like this shock of the new, shock of these big changes, but you've got faith in the process. You're staying positive. You know that if you've made it to this point in your existence, you can continue to make it moving forward. And that's an excellent way for you to see things, group number 1. And it's a very strong and courageous standpoint to have. I see here within conscious connections that you're becoming very conscious about who you're connected to, quite literally speaking. And with quite literally, I mean who you're connected to on social media, for example, right? Who's part of the people who you follow, who's part of your friends list, who has your phone number and is able to reach out to you and energetically connect with you. I can see that you're becoming very conscious of these connections, and you're understanding how important it is to ensure that you don't let people have access to you who don't respect you and who aren't conscious of energy as well, because they will very quickly drag you down and kind of suck that courage out of you that you once had by constantly complaining, for example. Next up, we've got every journey starts with a single step, and you get this. Not everyone does, but you do. And you're completely okay with taking things step by step. You know that life is all about a process and the journey, not the destination. And you're being really conscious about who you're taking with you, which also means that you're becoming very conscious and receiving this clarity about who to leave behind. See here within this baggage that you have with you, and knowing that every journey starts with a single step. Well, every journey also begins with becoming very conscious about our surroundings and our friends and family. So I do see that you're thinking of getting rid of some connections that you've outgrown and that you just know don't serve you. Like, for example, staying connected with someone who always has something to complain about and who never believes that things will work out. That can affect you in so many ways that you maybe didn't even realize, right? Just feeling slightly less confident can affect the decisions that you make professionally. So by being in contact or allowing such an individual to have access to you at any given time, you are maybe slowing your roll profusely, group number 1, and you're becoming very aware of how every single interaction impacts your day-to-day decision making. Next up, we've got the fend to the end, the worthwhile. You're going to defend your dreams and aspirations to the end. And if someone does not believe in them, if someone always has something to laugh about or to joke about when it comes to your dreams and aspirations, you're not going to let them get to you, but instead, you're going to defend what you've worked so hard for. You're going to defend your right to dream and also to pursue those dreams. After all of the people who you look up to, or I'm sure a good chunk of them, group number one, once were just dreaming of becoming the people who they are today. And they had naysayers. They had people who didn't believe in their abilities, but they continued to push through. And today they are people who are inspirational and who not only give you inspiration of what could be your future, but also thousands or millions of others. Next up, we've got the Magician. Yes, the power really does lie in your hand. And as a big change, I see a huge increase in confidence for you. Do know here within the Magician that we have a major arcana card that corresponds to the number 1, and this is a card that is all about action. It's all about moving forward, and the Magician is actually ruled by Mercury, and Mercury is the planet of communication and intelligence. So you're not just kind of putting a lot of energy and action into whatever, or just thinking to yourself that hard work equals success. No, you understand that it's important for you to do the right work and to double down on the right type of work in order to be effective, because just being quote unquote productive the whole day doesn't really mean anything if you're not getting the things done that you need to get done in order to get to that next stage in your career and your personal life that you want to get to so desperately. Next up, we've got the Four of Wands. Now, as a next big change, I can see here that you're settling down more in your home and in your base and the town that you're living in, and you're finding like a little social circle for yourself where you can be yourself and where you're surrounded by people who think big as well, who aren't small-minded whatsoever. And the Four of Wands shows me a certain sense of security in the home. Maybe you're even installing things such as security cameras, which make you feel more at ease and at peace. Whereas the Knight of Pentacles does also show me here that you understand it's a journey when it comes to financial intelligence as well, especially if you come from a background where maybe the people in your family never really had a lot of money to think about or worry about. So you being someone who is financially literate and understands the basics of financial intelligence, that could be like a completely new experience. And some people may be really shady and a little bit of like haters about it, but you understand that when someone is doing something differently or breaking generational curses, there will always be those who are against it and whose insecurities come forth when you kind of hold up a mirror to them. And it's important for you to keep moving along, okay? When things invoke emotion, that means you're doing something important. Next up, we've got the Strawberry. Now in the Strawberry, I can see you having an agreement, so some sort of contract here with the Four of Wands that brings you stability, such as signing a new lease or renewing a lease, signing a contract of a property, because the Four of Wands definitely concerns things such as the home, a place where you feel stable and you can be creative, and that simply allows you to explore the different areas of your life that brings you a lot of passion. So your home base is where you're finding this stability and this agreement that takes place. The Potato is all about the grounding type of energy that surrounds you, and I do see here that you feel so much more grounded and rooted the more you have your home life obviously in order. And right after signing this agreement, this lease renewal, this contract that binds you to a home in a way that you're really happy with, because it gives you stability and it makes you feel grounded. And that again adds to the confidence that you're starting to feel and the increase in confidence when it comes to how you handle your finances, because you feel a lot more aware of what good financial decisions are and what decisions you may want to stay away from. The Pink Rose is a flower of gratitude. It is a flower of being really happy for absolutely everything in your life, whether it be an opportunity, whether it be something that is material and physical. I do see here within the pink rose that because you've got such a strong sense of gratitude, this carries out throughout your entire existence and allows you to attract more things that you desire into your life, because you're never complaining, you're simply happy for what's there, and you're simply okay with challenges that present themselves, which brings forth positive change because you're not resisting, right? You're not fighting anything, you're simply going with what's there. Now, the Five of Cups does show me here that on the inside, there is a little bit of this depressed type of energy. So sometimes the gratitude can be a bit of a facade, group number one, not to call you out, but just to be very real. This is a safe space for us to talk about difficult things. And it is important for you to know that while being grateful is essential in order to lead a life that is free of as much suffering as possible, bear in mind that it's also okay to sometimes be sad and talk to people about your sadness, and to not feel as though being depressed or having any type of mental hurdles and difficulties that you struggle with, like that makes you lesser than, or like that makes you someone who isn't worthy of being listened to and loved and spoken to with respect. I see within the Five of Wands that there can sometimes be this feeling of competition where you feel like you're behind, right? Because maybe mentally you've struggled with something such as depression, maybe you've had learning disorders in the past, eating disorders, and you feel like that has given other people a leg up where you spent a lot of your life overcoming these challenges and difficulties. And sometimes it can feel really unfair, right? When you feel as though other people didn't have those same struggles. But keep in mind here to stay rooted in a place of comfort, in a place of feeling grounded, to remind yourself here to not compare your accomplishments and the things that you've been able to do to any other person's accomplishments. Yes, there are some people who have had a leg up or some helping hands when it came to their success and when it came to them getting to where they are today. But there are also a lot of people who have fought their way from the bottom to the top without any help, where we may have preconceived notions about them coming from a fortunate background when they actually did it all by themselves. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter, because you can't influence or impact their life. You can only impact yours, group number one. Then the Eight of Wands shows a lot of movement. So as soon as you snap out of that, you're actually very much inspired and motivated to do things for yourself. So as soon as you snap out of scrolling through your Instagram feed, for example, and going through different pages that you may have compared yourself to in the past, you're focused on yourself again, and you're reminded of the fact that there's no point. Social media is just a display of the best moments and biggest accomplishments for most people, at least. So don't compare your entire life to someone's one snapshot that seems perfect. The Knight of Pentacles here shows that you're on a journey for the long run. We've had the Knight of Pentacles show up twice for you already, group number one, within the Pastel Journey Tarot, as well as I believe this is the Tarot of Curious Creatures. Now, the Pastel Journey Tarot is the tarot deck that I wrote and published. I believe it is probably sold out at the time of me publishing this video. I'm not sure when it's going to come back. I am going to reprint, I believe, because you guys have loved it so much. It's been such a smashing success, and overall it is just such an amazing, beautiful deck. Let's move further into the reading. We've got the Ace of Pentacles. Again, we've got that fresh start when it comes to this financial situation that you're relearning. So breaking patterns of your family, getting rid of unhelpful habits of yours. That's what I see here. And the Eight of Cups does also show me that you're leaving them behind for good. Some people won't be able to understand why you're kind of turning a new leaf for yourself and trying to learn from people who have accomplished the things you look up to financially. Some people will maybe even see it as you being disrespectful to the lineage, but you have faith in your process and the fact that you know what intuitively feels right and that you want to change the story and the history of your lineage for the better. You want to be a pillar of success as well as hope for everyone who is yet to come within your lineage and what will be the future of your family tree. So group number 1, this is the reading that I received for you about the big unexpected changes that are coming next. I hope that you enjoyed this reading and that you found it insightful. Let me know below in the comment section. I love to hear from you. Furthermore, take good care of yourself, group number 1. I'm rooting for you, and I can't wait to catch you during one of my upcoming predictions. Hello, group number 2, and welcome to your reading on the next big unforeseen changes that are coming for you. You chose the Tarot of the Divine to help guide you, and I'm now going to get straight into your reading. So lean back, relax, and enjoy us uncovering these next big unexpected changes that are coming for you. Ooh, we've already had a card pop right out of the pile for you. Then we've got the 5 of Wands as well as the 8 of Swords. But as a very first card, we've had the Ace of Wands that popped right out for you, group number 2. So the Ace of Wands speaks of new beginnings. It speaks of creative force, enthusiasm, as well as confidence. So as a big unexpected change, you're going to go through an increase in your personal confidence, especially when it has to do with competition. The 5 of Wands is a card of competitiveness and also struggle in a way. And while in the past you may have thought to yourself that there are people who are better suited for a job role, or that you're maybe not attractive enough to be with the person who you desire, I see here in the Ace of Wands, in connectivity to the 5 of Wands, that this is changing. You're feeling a lot more confident and courageous in your own skin, and you no longer feel as though other people have the rite of passage to lead lives that you could only dream of, and you kind of need to sit on the sidelines and watch them accomplish all these things. No, group number 2, you feel as though you have just as much of a right of accomplishing your dreams and aspirations and being treated with respect as anyone else. And this is a really amazing, huge change that's coming for you. And I do see here within the 8 of Swords that there will be some moments of doubt, and this is definitely a journey that can feel a little lonely, that can feel as though it's something you have to go through all alone. And in a sense, it is true, because a lot of people won't understand. And I do see some discomfort when it comes to opening up about these changes that you're going through, because of course you also don't want to seem as though you're full of yourself or egocentrical. But group number 2, you are none of those things by no stretch of the imagination. The Ace of Wands, the 5 of Wands, and the 8 of Swords shows me here that you're simply increasing your personal confidence levels. And as a big change and result of that, you no longer feel the need to compete with others. Next up, we have the 4 of Cups. Now, the 4 of Cups here shows me that this journey, being one that is pretty lonely, means that you'll have this alone time to get to know yourself on a whole different level. And you're actually going to find that while you may have been a little worried about all of this alone time and a little unsure about how this is going to turn out, in the end, you'll be so thankful for all this time that you've had to get to know yourself, group number 2, and figure out exactly who you are on the inside. Now let's move further into your reading, shall we? We've got the 3 of Swords next. Now the 3 of Swords is an interesting one, group 2, because the 3 of Swords is all about some sort of difficult situation here and feeling like there was a faux friend within your circle, okay? The 3 of Swords is a card that speaks of some sort of betrayal and heartbreak that comes as a result of that. And I see as a big unforeseen change that while your confidence levels are going up, someone else's confidence level around you is going down. So think a coworker or a boss or even someone who you're romantically interested in. Sometimes family members can start to become really strange and act in a funny way once they see that you value yourself more and that you're taking your self-love journey and your self-respect a lot more seriously than in the past. And that's one thing that I can can see here, but you're okay with that. I see that here in connectivity to the Four of Cups. You're okay with having to go the next little bit by yourself because you'd rather be by yourself and continue to grow as a person than be with people who aren't happy as soon as you begin to level up. Next up, we've got the Hanged Man. Now in the Hanged Man, I can see that there's not going to be this immediate break in any relationships. You will just slowly start to notice how some people are acting differently towards you. The more confident you become, the more you accomplish, the more that you realize that there may be some people here who of course wanted you to succeed as long as it wasn't too much, right? As long as you didn't succeed in a way that made them feel uncomfortable. And that's what I see here with the Hanged Man. So you're just kind of staying and laying low, if you will. You're kind of giving things time. You're not going to immediately call them out, but you're taking note of who is here to truly celebrate the next big unforeseen changes in your life and who is kind of a little bit on the fence, who is showing some signs of jealousy, because there definitely is some of that here. But group number 2, whenever you're doing something that is meaningful and that triggers someone in a spot that hits their insecurity, there often is a reaction there, because if you were to just please absolutely everybody, your life probably wouldn't be that interesting, right? And so keep in mind that when you're accomplishing things and growing and being courageous, there will always be people who are triggered and there will always be people who have something to say about it, but don't let that stop your own personal journey. Next up, we've got the Ten of Swords. Now in the Ten of Swords, I can see here that rather than overthinking things, you're kind of over it, okay? You're kind of just done with being in a space where you're worried about how others may feel about your growth, how others may feel about the fact that you're no longer comparing yourself. You know that the best thing you could possibly do is to just carry on with life, to not allow that to make you slow your roll, if you will, and to just focus on the situations and people in your life that help you feel empowered and continue to support your moving forward. Next up, we've got the P. We've also got the banana, as well as the orange. I love this deck, group number 2, because it's just so relatable. So we've got the number 2 show up quite a bit, as the P corresponds to the number 2, the banana corresponds to the number 27, and the orange corresponds to the number 28. So each one of these cards has a 2 in it, which speaks of duality. You also selected the number 2, and I want you to know here within the P that we've got communication, right? And communication is something that has to go both ways. So I see here that as a big unforeseen change, you're going to find that communication becomes a little more easy, a little simpler, as the banana actually speaks of duality. We spoke about duality being part of the number 2, being like an essential kind of aspect of what the number 2 represents, and the banana speaks of just that. So while you can, for example, want to speak your mind, that doesn't mean that you have to be hurtful, right? There can be duality there. There can be love as well as honesty. And I see here within the orange that that is the type of energy that you're bringing to the table. So while you want the best for someone, you also want to be honest, and you're the type of person who is going to communicate in a way that others can't misunderstand. And sometimes the truth simply hurts. And I can see here that knowing that the truth can hurt, you will try to be as sweet and kind as you possibly can be while still being very honest. And I see that people truly appreciate that within you. Next up, group number 2, we've got the stock. So I see you being super focused on an area in your life that you usually felt like you had to split your time between. So maybe your personal life has been a little bit difficult for you to manage and handle because you've had a lot of work commitments. Maybe there's a relationship in your life where you can feel that the person isn't very happy with you because you're investing not only a lot of time in your own growth, but also your career. So you're kind of focusing on figuring out whether it's even worth keeping that area in your life going, or whether you should maybe get rid of that connection or friendship that you feel is only holding you back. And I see that you want to invest a lot of energy in figuring this out now, so that for the future, you no longer have to mull over whether you've made the right decision, and you're not wasting time in the long term trying to suck up to someone or please someone who is never going to be happy with anything that you do, because they're committed to kind of being a heavy weight in your life. They're kind of committed to constantly playing the victim, if you know what I mean. Next up, we've got the apple. So for you, it's all about continuance, group number 2. So as a huge change, you're not going to continue being codependent when it comes to anyone. There is no parent, friend, or romantic partner with whom you feel like you have this connection, which is essential for your survival. So while you would be completely distraught and shattered if something happened to the people closest to you, you don't feel as though your life would be completely done, okay, if they weren't in your life anymore. You're not codependent in the sense of feeling like you always need someone around you in order to be able to accomplish anything. No, you've got this inner confidence and knowing that at the end of the day, we are all still individuals as much as we love and care for other people. And if something were to happen to them, life still has to continue on for you, right? Life is still something that will continue no matter what happens. And that is what I can see here in the apple, that shows a lot of inner strength that's being built and a lot of changes that are coming towards you on an internal level. The Knight of Wands is someone who is very strong, who is committed to moving forward, and also someone who is very confident and daring, adventurous, as well as charming. That's the type of energy that I see for you. This fire sign energy that brings out the best in you and also brings out this nuance within you that reminds people not to play with your heart and your emotions, and shows people that you didn't come to play. You know your worth and your value, and you're not going to compromise that for anyone, group number 2. Next up, we've got the 10 of Wands, as well as the 7 of Cups. So let's first talk about the 10 of Wands, shall we? The 10 of Wands shows up when you've been overextending yourself and you're kind of keeping a lot of burdens on your shoulder. And here in connectivity to the 7 of Cups, I want to be really honest with you, group number 2. After all, that's what we're here for, right? I'm the type of reader who will always be real with you. So if that is what you like, then this is the perfect space and time for you to be here. Now, you've been overextending yourself for people who don't realize how much of a burden or how much weight that they've put on your shoulder. The 7 of Cups shows me that it's been your choice to carry that burden. So whether that is a family member or someone who you're working with who has tasks and things that they should do, such as taking care of their own household, kids, and projects, but they've kind of put it onto you, and they've been maybe going through a tough time, okay? So maybe they have had health struggles or struggles in their personal life. So they haven't been able to keep up as much with their load as they'd like to, and they've leaned on you a lot for comfort and security and help. And it's great to be a helpful person, group number 2. That is something you should give yourself a little pat on the back for, but at the same time, you are not employed by them, okay? You are not obligated to spend your time overextending yourself and not having any time or energy left to take care of your stuff and your own affairs. So remember here in the 7 of Cups, that it's also your choice. You get to say no. You don't have to say yes to anyone who puts more weight on your shoulders than necessary, that is constantly kind of taking you for granted and taking your time for granted too, and forgetting that you too are human and you too need time for your own personal affairs and for your own self-care. So remind yourself here that saying no is always an option. Even when you feel like it's not an option, or like you only have one choice, which is to say yes to a coworker in need, or an elderly parent that needs you, maybe a child that is in dire need of your help. You don't have to say yes every single time. There are other ways how you can make the situation work without feeling bad. Maybe you can hire help if that is possible, financially speaking. Maybe you can ask someone else to fill in for you, right? You don't always have to be the one carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders. Next up, we've got the Four of Pentacles. Yes, guard your resources. As a next big change, I can see here in the Four of Pentacles that you're holding your time as well as your energy as a sacred commodity, which it truly is, because it's finite, group number 2. There is no infinite amount of time, right? We all have a certain amount of time gifted to us in these bodies within this existence on planet Earth, because if there's one thing that's promised to all of us, it is being born and then at some point life coming to an end. And the Four of Pentacles shows me here that you are starting to be a lot more thoughtful when it comes to your time, and a lot more conservative with how much energy that you want to put into projects and people where you don't see the returns or the same being put in for you. The Ten of Pentacles just shows me here that that makes you feel so much more happy and fulfilled, and of course it does, because after all, reciprocity is so important, and feeling as though you are in a place of peace and you've got family around you that cares, whether that is blood related or chosen family, that is true affluence. That is true happiness. And I see that you're choosing reciprocity and people who care about you over people who simply make you feel like you have to do something for them any day, group number 2, which shows a lot of growth on the inside and a lot of maturity, a big increase in that. So let's add a few more cards into your reading, shall we? So we can figure out some of the other big changes that are coming towards you. I will clear the space and speak a little bit more about love specifically and relationships, but let's get into it. We've got confidence. We spoke about that right at the start, group number 2. Your confidence levels are increasing, they're shooting up, they're growing, and that is a big unexpected change that's coming towards you. Next up, we've got happiness. So as a natural result, you are feeling a lot more lighthearted, a lot happier, more joyful, and like life isn't such a heavy burden. Like life is a little easier to stem. And this is especially helpful and beautiful if you're someone who struggles with depression or any other type of sadness. We had this card pop out of the pile right as we were talking about struggles that you may have been going through and how they are changed. And that's what I see here within sadness, that while sadness is something that we can never fully banish from our lives, after all, as human beings, we will always feel different emotions. I see that you're learning to deal with sadness in a way healthier way, with more confidence, and to be able to root yourself in a happiness that comes with more longevity and that you can truly sustain. Then we've got hunger. So there's definitely some things that you're going after that you really want and you really need. But another thing that I want to talk about here is literal hunger, group number 2. So as a big change, you may actually restructure your diet and find that you are reframing what hunger means, and whether that is something that is bad, whether that is simply your body also talking to you about nutrients that aren't great, that aren't the best, because sometimes we can eat a lot and still feel hungry, but then when we look at what we did eat, we find that it maybe wasn't as nutritious, right? The quantity was there, but the nutritional value was lacking. And that is where I can see that you're finding more confidence in your body and your eating patterns, and what truly gives you a feeling of being satisfied and what leaves you hungry and feeling like actually you didn't even have anything. And furthermore, in hunger, we of course have, the hunger of wanting more and accomplishing more. But we'll talk about that a little further into your reading, group number 2. I will now take a moment to clear this space for you so we can continue on within your reading. So in this next part, I'm going to talk a little bit more about romantic love, but also other relationships. But if any other messages come through that are related to your personal life or your career, whatever area of life it may be, of course, I'm not going to leave any of those messages out for you, group number 2. Furthermore, I have a very exciting new project that's going to launch soon. I've actually been working on this for, I want to say, 2 years. It's been a journey, and I'm so excited that it will be launching very soon. So keep an eye on this space, keep an eye on bowlife.com so that you don't miss out on this. But now let's move further into your reading to figure out more of what these big unexpected changes are that are coming towards you next, group number 2. We've got receiving. Okay, so you're going to receive some sort of message, commitment, and love that's coming towards you that you absolutely did not expect. And I can see here in the word wants to be written that you will receive an unexpected text message or email, a letter maybe even, that's going to change absolutely everything. It's going to change everything in love for you in your romantic life as well as your relationships. And this is going to be a huge change that you did not see coming, group number 2. This is very, very exciting. Next up, we've got what is already with you. So this is someone who you'd already know. Okay, this is not a letter that's coming out of the blue. This is some written words from someone who is in your life, who you know a little bit, but you never knew that they felt this way about you. And next up, we've got restore and replenish. So it's going to leave you in a space where you feel super thoughtful, where you feel like you just need a little bit of time to replenish your energy, as you absolutely did not expect this. And if you are in a relationship, then of course you'll need time to figure out how to react, because you don't want to make your partner mad or feel as though you're being put in a love triangle. And if you're single, you of course also need a little bit of time to digest this new information. Let's add some runes into the mix for you too, group number 2. So the runes can be a little bit loud, so feel free to put your volume down a little bit right now as I'm going to get some runes out for you. Okay, so these are the 2 runes that we have for you, group number 2. So here I believe we've got Gabo, which is all about love, generosity, marriage, and also partnership. Okay, so this is an unexpected thing that we have coming towards you. Gabo corresponds to the letter G in our alphabet, and this is like a gift that you absolutely did not expect, romantically speaking. So it really resonates with this part of the reading that we're in. Now, next up, we've got Awaz. Now, Awaz corresponds to the letter E, and it is actually representative of the horse. Awaz also means that there's some sort of partnership here and a feeling of transportation, okay? So being transported from one area of the relationship to the next level, to the next tier. So there's definitely a solidification in your love life that's taking place and some really big changes, but they look like positive ones. They look like changes that come with great commitment where you can relax and chill, and you don't have to ask yourself what place that your relationship is in, but it's crystal clear, and honesty as well as love is generously being shared and given to you, group number 2. Next up, we've got the 10th house as well as the North Node. Now, let's first talk about the North Node, which is all about the future. So do know here that these are the changes that are coming in the near future within your love life. And the 10th house shows me here that it's also, in a sense, up to you how soon those changes come your way, especially if you are single right now, group number 2. And don't worry, I will talk about what it means if you are in a relationship at this point in time, but let's first talk about our singles. The 10th house is actually the house of your career, your public image, and also the legacy which you leave, and it corresponds to the sign of Capricorn. Now, the 10th house shows me here that when you are ready and open to receiving love, that is when you can move forward and have these big unexpected changes take place. But of course, if you're closed off right now and you're more focused on your public image and your career, then that will interfere and push these changes further into the future for you, group number 2. However, if you are ready, then you can make space and make time for romantic love. Now, if you are in a committed relationship, do know here that if that relationship does not work out for you, or if for whatever reason here within the 10th house, your career and the type of image that you're trying to put out there collides with your current relationship and it's just no longer working out for you, know that in the future you will have someone new that comes towards you who's going to confess their love to you, who's going to give you lots that you can receive and be very open and honest, but you will need time to restore and replenish, of course, should you decide to start afresh when it comes to your love life. Next up, we've got Aquarius. So there's an important Aquarius that's going to be part of these big unexpected changes that are coming towards you, group number 2. And next up, we've got Libra. They also have very important Libra placements within their chart. So while the 10th house by default corresponds to Capricorn, I do want you to know here that we may have Aquarius in the 10th house or Libra in the 10th house. Libra is a sign of balance and diplomacy, while Aquarius is really fun, innovative, and philanthropic. So you've got someone here who is a balanced but still very fun individual who's going to bring some huge, massive changes in your love life that you did not expect. Let's move further into your reading though, group number 2, for more info. We've got the 10 of Pentacles. So I see here that your love life unexpectedly, so we need to talk about this, group number 2, but unexpectedly, your love life is going to leave you feeling really fulfilled, especially in a material sense as well. Now, why is this unexpected, group number 2? Is this maybe because you come from a background where you didn't have much, or maybe you didn't grow up particularly poor, but also not very affluent? Is it maybe because you never felt like you deserved to be with someone who had their life together, or like you never would be with someone from an affluent background? Because I definitely see here that there is this big element of surprise and this being an unexpected outcome for your love life. So it would be pretty interesting to know why this is such a surprise and comes as such an unexpected change to you. If you feel like sharing, feel free to in the comment section. I always love to hear about your experiences and what you've been through, group number 2. So let's move further into it. We've got the 3 of Cups, which is all about celebration, having a fun time, as well as spending time within your community in a place where you feel seen and heard and safe. So I definitely see that there is a safe space for you, especially romantically speaking as well, and that a big unexpected change that's coming towards your romantic life is more social engagements where you'll go with a romantic partner and you'll have a good time, you'll celebrate, you'll party, and you feel as though you're part of something greater, you're part of a community. The 4 of Wands shows me here that that brings stability with it. So that makes you feel as though you are in a relationship that is committed, that is stable, where you don't have to worry about the whereabouts of this person, and like your love life is in a place where you feel like you can really work with this. Like you can focus on your career and you know that you're in a romantic situation where you're not with someone who's playing games. Now, the 4 of Pentacles shows me here that being kind of very frugal is what gets you to this place of affluence and of material success and just material ease as well. So the person who you're with comes from quite a frugal type of background. That's how they've even gotten to a place of this level of financial security and wealth, because they don't spend money unnecessarily on random things to impress people who they don't really care about and don't really care about them. They don't care about public image that much. That's one thing that I see here within the Four of Pentacles. And with them having Aquarius in their 10th house, that makes a lot of sense because Aquarius energy is pretty rebellious, okay? It is very original and fun and independent and innovative. So an Aquarius with the 10th house, mixing those two together just shows that you've got someone here romantically who does not care about what other people may think or say. They want to do their own thing and they want to do what makes them feel like they're staying in check with their own integrity. Next up, we've got the daffodil. So there's lots of hope on the horizon for your love life. If you've always been worried about your love life and how it's going to turn out in the long run, do know here, group number 2, that we've got lots of interesting aspects to your love life. You're not going to be alone or lonely, as the orange shows me here that your love life still has a lot of energy to give, a lot of energy within it. This is not the end of the story. This is just the beginning. You still have much to experience, and don't overthink aging and age or any of those things, because while you may think to yourself, oh no, I'm getting older and how are things going to be if I don't have it all figured out? Well, there will be other people in your position as well, and they will feel the exact same way, and they will be able to bond with you over this, okay? As you move on with your life and you get older and you find areas in which you can maybe spend a little bit more time improving, such as your relationships or maybe your career. Other people are finding themselves in the same situation, because this journey through life is one that comes with so many different facets and so many different nooks and crannies that we only even realize exist as time goes on. And you're not the only one going through this, group number 3. So don't feel like everyone else has everything figured out and you're kind of late or behind or anything like that. I see here within the marigold that your biggest asset is your positivity. And I'm not talking toxic positivity of just saying, oh, well, you know, everything will be fine, even though everything's coming crashing down. Not like that, but positivity is in seeing the glass as half full as instead of half empty. Of course, if you, for example, lose a romantic relationship, or things come to an end, or someone cheats on you and is dishonest and unloyal, that is something to be sad about. You don't have to feel as though you just say to yourself, oh, well, whatever, move on. No, take a little bit of time to be sad, to be mad, to grieve, to scream and cry and shout, whatever you need to do, group number 2. But after you've done that for a little bit, put yourself back together and you remind yourself here that the glass half full means that you're saying to yourself, now you know who this person is. They've shown you their true colors. And it's better now than never. Or it's better to eventually find out and be able to move on with your life and be with someone who truly respects you, rather than sticking around in a relationship where you're with someone you don't actually know, or where you're still sharing time and energy with someone who could do something like this to you, right? And people also change. So someone who is a cheater, okay, let's just be real, group number 2, someone who is a cheater, they may not have always been like that. Maybe they've gone through a midlife crisis and that kind of pushed them to cheat because they're going through their own troubles, and they thought, oh, maybe this is a good situation to be in, to be able to have a stable relationship but still someone on the side, right? This might be fun, this might be interesting. Well, wrong, group number 2, and you get to set those boundaries and you get to walk away from that, but also remind yourself that just because someone turns out going through a crisis and decides to handle it poorly by, for example, lying or cheating, that doesn't mean that they've always been like that. People can change, and sometimes relationships are meant to be in your life for a certain amount of time and then they expire, okay? Just as food expires, just as, for example, the body ages and certain parts of you, they don't expire, but they're less fresh and cells die and need to be renewed. I mean, every few years, your entire body is made up of a set of completely fresh cells. You do not have the same body that's made up of the same cells that you had 10 years ago or at the time of your birth, group number 2. Even just a couple days ago, lots of cells were here and existed that are now dead, that are now changed, that have been replaced by new cells. So keep in mind here that just as life is constantly changing, so do people. And you are in a state of constant change as well. But I do see in the Queen of Crystals that some big changes coming towards you also have to do with you becoming more and more nurturing, more down to earth. You're a very resourceful person. So while you may have been attracted to someone who's maybe a little bit more flashy at an earlier point in life, or someone who had like a job that sounded really good and important and big, or someone who drove a really nice car, the older you get, the less you care about stuff like that, and the more you care about who someone is on the inside and what their integrity is like. And that's what I see here within the Queen of Crystals. You're a very big-hearted person, and there's only one way from here, which is up, which is your heart becoming bigger and more all-encompassing, and you need romantic relationships that reflect that. You're not meant to be in any type of shallow situation. Next up, we've got the King of Cups reversed. So the King of Cups reversed shows us here a water sign or water sign energy. So think Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. This is someone who is very sensitive, mysterious, and imaginative. So think of their sun sign being in a water sign. Think of their placements having a lot of water sign energy within them. And the King of Cups reverse does show me here that you are meant to be with someone who is mature and who knows what they want. And they're also someone who is pretty wise, they're calm and diplomatic. But this card showing up reverse does show me that this is like your person in reserve. So while right now you're maybe not talking to someone like that, you can activate this relationship, as I see here with the North Node as well as the Marigold, through taking a little bit of time to become clear on what it is that you desire out of a romantic relationship, and then continuing to see the glass as half full. So you've got this person in reserve, right, on the side, so to say. So even if a connection that you're in right now doesn't work out, you've got someone else that the universe has put to the side to you that is meant to be an amazing partner for a very mature and self-confident phase within your life, because the King of Cups is someone who is confident, who knows who they are, and they don't need to prove themselves to anybody. Now, group number 2, this is the reading that I received for you on the next big unforeseen changes that are coming for you. I hope that you enjoyed this and that you found it insightful. Let me know below in the comment section. Leave a little orange emoji below to let me and others know that you made it all the way to the end. Furthermore, make sure that you check out my tarot decks if you are an avid tarot deck collector as well. The Pastel Journey is probably sold out at this point in time, but I do still have copies of the second edition of the Gentle Heart Tarot deck available, so make sure that you check that out. And I, of course, have a new really exciting project that's coming soon, so keep your eyes peeled for that, group number 2. Thank you so much for being here, for spending this divine time and space with me, and I'll speak to you during one of my upcoming predictions. Hello, group number 3, Vanessa Somuayina here, and I would like to welcome you to your reading about the next big unforeseen changes that are coming for you. You chose the Modern Witch Tarot deck in order to help guide you. We will, of course, be adding lots of other tarot decks into the mix, as well as runes. So I'd like to get straight into it. First, we'll talk about the general overview of the next big unforeseen changes that are coming towards you, but we'll also delve a little more closely into love, your personal life, as well as your career and finances. So we can really give you some good coverage of all the different areas and aspects of your life in which you will be experiencing some big unforeseen changes. First up, we've got the Three of Swords. Now, group number 3. In the Three of Swords, I can see here that something unexpected is going to happen and you're going to feel taken aback. I see here within the Judgment card that this has to do with someone who you never thought would betray you or go behind your back. And here within the Judgment card, I can definitely see that the situation is taking place with someone who you thought would do better than they ended up doing. Okay, so this could be a coworker, for example, maybe a family member who does something that you didn't expect and you feel kind of disappointed. Now, that doesn't have to mean that this change is coming and affecting you in particular. It could also mean that you're witnessing someone close to you who is, for example, cheating on a partner or on a spouse, and you just expected them to be more loyal and to do better in general. We have yet to figure this situation out, but group 3, you probably can already sense that I'm a very honest tarot reader. I'm not someone who sugarcoats anything. So if you're looking for someone who sugarcoats, this isn't the right channel for you. However, if you're all into honesty, clarity, and someone being very direct and open with you, then this is the perfect space. So let's figure out exactly how this situation is taking place. We've got the Queen of Swords as well as the Eight of Pentacles. So this is definitely a work situation. And I see here in the Queen of Swords that someone isn't afraid to be cutthroat whatsoever. And your work colleague, this situation with this person who you're involved with work-wise. But group 3, this could also be someone with whom you're going to school with. I see here in the Eight of Pentacles that you've both worked really hard. However, now they are undermining their relationships in order to get a leg up. So think someone who is betraying another person in the same field that they're working in order to get ahead. Or for example, taking notes from another person, benefiting off of those, getting amazing grades, but then not doing the same in return if they can help another person. So I see you witnessing this, and this is completely changing the way that you view this person. And it comes as a big change to you in your life, because now all of a sudden you feel as though, if people aren't that trustworthy in this career path or in this education system, maybe I just have to be a little bit more careful, because if they can do that to someone else, they can do that to me too. And I see here within the Queen of Swords that this cutthroat kind of mentality is something that you don't like and something that makes you feel pretty uneasy. So rather than freaking out, the Eight of Pentacles shows me here that you're actually delving further into just working and focusing on everything that you can do professionally speaking and on your career path, rather than overthinking or being part of any cliques or groups. As I see here within the Five of Wands, that competition is not for you. You're not meant to compete with other people, especially if they play dirty, and especially if they're the type of people who are backstabbers. So I see that there's some big changes taking place where you're weeding out the backstabbers and the people who can be dishonest or whose loyalty immediately changes when things aren't going their way or when they can get a leg up. You're staying far away from people who will throw others under the bus just in order to have an advantage, and overall that can make you sometimes feel a little bit isolated. But trust me, the right people are yet to come along. But it's definitely a wise move for you to stay away from the type of people who don't view anything as sacred. Next up, we've got the Knight of Pentacles. So you're minding your own business. And in the Knight of Pentacles, I can see here that you're very much unwavering when it comes to your opinion about your career and where you're going. You're realistic and hardworking. That's what I see here within the Knight of Pentacles. And while a lot of alliances are changing around you, and you can see that there are a lot of people who are faux friends, not necessarily just to you, but also to others. You know exactly what you want to accomplish in this lifetime, and you're not allowing for any type of childish shenanigans to to get in the way of all the things that you've worked so hard for. So you're staying out of the drama, but it's definitely changing the way that you view other people for good, group number 3. Next up, we've got what you want wants you, and you understand that. You understand that the more you focus on what you desire and on things that can actually drive you forward in your career, the more that you will find that those things come true, because other people are kind of caught up in drama or petty nonsense. Meanwhile, you are going full steam ahead, group number 3. Oh, okay, we have another card that popped right into the pile that wants to speak. Bring it into form. We spoke about you going full steam ahead, right? And we've got that here with bring it into form too. You're moving forward quickly, you're putting in the work, you're taking steps forward, you are not remaining complacent in a place of speaking about others or unnecessarily being involved in negativity, drama, or pettiness. No, you're on the go, you're on the move, and for you it's very clear what's work and what's private, and you're not wanting to mix those two areas of your life. So I can see that some of the big changes definitely have to do with you all of a sudden overtaking people with whom you once thought you were in competition with, because you're so focused and because you're not engaging in any type of drama and any type of gossip whatsoever. You're just witnessing it, and it is hurtful. I see that in the 3 of Swords. I definitely see this message from Spirit for you, group 3, to not judge others so harshly, because unless you're in their exact situation, you don't know what you would do. But, you know, just being cautious around people who you see gossiping a lot, that's definitely a good rule of thumb. But try not to get too involved, emotionally speaking, and try not to allow someone's way of being to affect others down the line, okay? So in releasing allegiances, it's all about that. It's all about releasing, for example, the thought process that because someone who comes from a certain background or suffers from a certain personality disorder, maybe they have betrayed you or they have treated you poorly, that doesn't mean that another person from this background or with this type of personality disorder or this struggle will do the same to you. So that's where you have to be careful, group number 3, not to throw everyone into the same drawer, so to say, not to throw everyone into the same pot. I'm not sure if one says that in the English language, because in German there are some terms like that, but I think you know what I mean, group number 3. And to simply view everyone as a completely fresh individual, while still, of course, putting common sense first with the people who you do know. Next up, we've got the word wants to be written. So I do see here moving forward for you that some big changes are going to come in written form. Think an important email or text message, group number 3, that's going to change everything for you. And that's going to show you that what you want wants you back. Okay, so think, for example, a promotion, a huge business opportunity, someone who you're interested in romantically sending you a text or an email, some sort of instant message where you feel like, yes, okay, they really want me back. I wanted this situation and now I finally got the green light. That's what I can see here within the word wants to be written, and what you want wants you. Next up, we've got the broccoli. So you're taking the lead in this situation because you're being given the confidence that you needed to step up and to say, yeah, you know what? I do want this opportunity and I am looking forward to it and I will take it. Why not? After all, I've only got one life to live. Next up, we've got the lime, group number 3. Now the lime shows me that luck is on your side. So some of the next big unforeseen changes don't necessarily just have to do with hard work and manifestation, but there is a good little portion of luck that's included in your life moving forward. And this is really awesome. This is something worth celebrating, and this is worth you looking forward to it, group number 3, because a lot of people put a lot of situations on luck. And I do see here with you that you are more of a rational thinker, if you will. You definitely feel as though without any work, you can have all the luck in the world. That's not going to change your faith or your future or your destiny. You still have to work hard. So I do see here that it's a really nice change when your work doesn't just pay off, but you do have that extra little bit of luck that just puts you in the right place at the right time and simply allows for your focus and the work that you have put in to come to this space of blooming and just completely glowing a lot more than it would have without that extra little hint, that extra spice of luck, if you know what I mean, group number 3. So next up, we've got the lemon. We've got some activities that have to do with cleansing for you, group 3. Now, cleansing can happen in many different ways. You can physically cleanse, right? You can do a juice cleanse, for example, where you only drink green juices for a certain amount of time in order to cleanse your system from toxins. You can cleanse yourself emotionally and spiritually by using sage or by using different methods of divination. You can use the sunlight, the moonlight. There's so many different ways to cleanse, group number 3. And I see here that as a big change, the next cleanse that you undergo is going to be like a proper reset. You know how sometimes when you cleanse or you use sage or incense, it can feel as though you've cleansed the situation, but it's not a complete revamp of the energy surrounding you. It's not a complete reboot. But I do see here within the lemon and these big changes that are coming towards you, group number 3, that you are able to completely reboot, restart your system, do like a software update almost. That's one thing that I can see here within the lemon. Let's move a little further into your reading. I also do want to use some runes. Ooh, and group number 3. I have a little secret to share with you. I have an amazing project that's gonna come out very soon. I've been working on this for, I want to say, almost 2 years or so, and it's going to be amazing. So make sure that you watch this space either on my Instagram at Vanessa Somuayina or my YouTube, because you'll definitely see it on both of those pages. Oh, and beware, by the way, on Instagram there are so many accounts that are impersonating me, claiming to sell personal readings. I do not sell personal readings at this time, group number 3. Just want to make you aware of that, but many readers have been struggling with this sad phenomenon. So make sure that if you follow me, you just report or ignore any accounts that are pretending to be me, because group number 3, there are too many. I wish that people could just be happy with themselves and being themselves. So next up, we've got the nasturtium. So I do see that there's victory that is assured and that will be yours, group number 3. This is a really positive foretelling, foreshadowing of your future. And we've also got the number 44, which is a master number that not only speaks of triumph, but also security. So you securing something that makes you feel grounded. Think a home, think a lease, think, for example, a deal that will give you a lot of financial safety for the next little bit, so you no longer need to worry about how you're going to pay for food, rent, amenities, things like that. Next up, we've got the geranium. This will give you time and space to focus on your healing. I'd say we've all got things to heal from. You know, none of us have had perfect childhoods, and our childhoods vary in so many different degrees, right? And that doesn't mean that you're not grateful or thankful to your parents, but at the end of the day, no human beings are perfect, especially parents with everything that they go through. If you're a parent here in group number 3, know that I tip my hat to you, because I can't imagine how difficult it must be to have all of that weight on your shoulders and still get judged by society and so many people who don't even really know what's going on in your life or what you've been through. And us all being kids of someone, we've gone through things with our parents, and sometimes things can be damaging. And again, that is not to say that our parents didn't try or didn't put their best foot forward, but they're just human beings and they go through things too. And group number 3, sometimes we just got to give thanks to them and remember that while we may have seen our parents as almost like superheroes or gods in a sense when we were growing up, and we believed everything that they said, they too were they're just trying their best to make do, to make it to the next day, just taking one step at a time. And sometimes they do things that are just not perfect. And we can take time to heal from that. We can also take time to break generational curses that maybe our parents did not have the time or capacity to focus on, as they were simply just trying to make everything work or exist in a society that didn't support them or even hindered their growth and their success. So the further along we get in this day and age, I'd say the more we should take the opportunity to heal and remind ourselves that with all of the opportunities and possibilities that we have in this day and age, I'd say so many more people have the advantage to be able to learn about anything and everything, especially through the age of the internet. And we should just give thanks to that sometimes too, rather than focusing on the many negatives that come with the internet as well. But just think about it. Simple questions that you may have had 20, 30 years ago, you'd have had to go to a library really and pick out a book, because maybe you didn't have an internet connection so readily available to you, or maybe you just didn't live in a situation where you were able to Google, where you were able to use the web. And these are all things that can help us in our healing and remind us of how fortunate that we really are. That makes a big change. I see here within the Five of Swords that there is this little part of you, group number 3, that is very hesitant to let go of your leadership position, that is very hesitant to let go of control. And I see here within the word wants to be written and the big changes coming towards you, that if you're unable to do that, you may miss out on some opportunities. So be open to discussions about new business ventures. Be open to someone sending you a text message or an email that is maybe a little strange to begin with, but because you know this person, there could be something within it that is actually a good opportunity for you. Don't write things off immediately, unless of course it is like a very obvious scam or something like that, group number 3. Then of course, block it off. There are way too many of those with the internet too. Let's just be honest about that. But moving forward, like, be open to different opportunities that at first may not look as appealing, but through negotiating and spending a little bit of time fine-tuning it to your needs may actually be super amazing for you. Next up, we've got the Two of Pentacles. So balancing your work as well as your personal life. I can see here that finding a balance where you've got enough time, well, spare time for yourself, that's what healing really is to you. There's not this like one practice that you need to do or this one thing to focus on for you, group number 3. I see that the biggest change that can happen for you positively is by just having time for yourself. This is especially true for all of you who have been overworking themselves and who haven't taken any time to just relax. You need that. That is the best way for you to allow for big positive changes to come into your life and to be able to cleanse the space and spend time just healing and licking some wounds that you've just covered up for way too long and that need a little bit of oxygen to further heal. So I've got my runes right here. We'll do a few runes before I move into the next set of cards for you. I will completely clear the space and then relay the cards for you, group number 3. But let's first pick a few runes. Okay, Spirit, what does group number 3 need to hear? Okay, so I'm pretty sure we've got Uruz over here, as well as another rune that I believe is Hagalaz. Let's start off with Hagalaz, shall we? So Hagalaz corresponds to the letter H. It looks a little bit like an H, doesn't it? And this is all about a big change and sometimes even destruction. And Uruz corresponds to the symbol of the ox, and it states strength, power, and courage. So while there is like a storm and a difficult situation that's nearing, you are being reminded by Spirit that you've got what it takes. You've got the strength and the courage to withstand the storm, to withstand any type of challenges that may come your way and overcome those obstacles. So on one hand, you are being told, group number 3, that these big changes that are unexpected that are coming towards you are going to maybe cause some anxiety, some fear, some uncertainty and unknowns, just being completely real, transparent, and honest with you. But at the same time, you've gone through worse, okay? You've gone through more uncertainty, group number 3, and you've got what it takes. You've got the inner strength to not only overcome these challenges, but come out the other end stronger and in a way feeling really empowered, and just knowing that there's nothing that can bring you down unless you allow it to. So let's just add 2 more cards into your reading. We've got the mystery card as well as the ghost. Okay, so a little friendly encounter with a ghost. That's one thing that I see here, group number 3. Don't be afraid of this, because sometimes it can seem really mysterious why we feel as though there is something with us in this room or this existence that we're in. Have you ever been in a space, group number 3, and you haven't been afraid, but you just felt like there was a presence there, like there was someone else with you? Like maybe the ghosts are real. Maybe there was a ghost, there was an energetic entity, and that is what I can see here that's coming as a big change next. But I see that this ghost is actually one that brings luck, that allows you to step into your leadership without being afraid, and kind of nudges you to remind yourself here that you're supported, that you're not by yourself, and to be fearless. I can see that it's a very empowering type of relationship and encounter. Now, group 3, I will clear the space for you now. So lean back, relax, continue to enjoy as we move even further into your reading. Also, feel free to leave a little lemon emoji below in the comment section if you've made it to this point within your reading. I'd love to hear from you in any way. So feel free to also just comment how you're doing. I simply just love reading your comments, responding to them. Some of you have even become members of the Unicorn Army, your empresses and emperors in my channel memberships. I've got some super fans. So thank you all so much for your continued support. I absolutely love what I do, and it's all just possible thanks to you. Okay, now group number 3, let's move a little further into your reading. We'll now talk about some big unforeseen changes that are coming towards you in love. So hold tight as we move further into these messages that are fated and were meant to find you right now. So we've got conjunction, we've got Capricorn, as well as transits. This is an interesting combination. So let's start off by talking about conjunctions, group number 3, shall we? So conjunctions at 0 degrees. This is when a planet joins or passes another, and it is a really powerful type of emphasis. It shows that there is a lot of strength in the sign, and I see here with Capricorn that this means that you can accomplish absolutely anything, especially in love with a partner, with the right partner. I see that you're meant to be with someone with whom you form a quote-unquote power couple, and that is probably one of my least preferred ways to refer to couples as. I don't like when people, for example, say that my husband and I are a power couple. Group number 3, I don't like that description. However, it is a very fitting way to describe your love life and the big changes that are coming within your romantic situation. And I also see here within transits that overall the entire climate and the entire vibe of your love life is going to change and is going to be different, very different than what you've ever experienced before. But it's coming with more energy, because keep in mind here, Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. And if there's one thing about Saturn, then that's the fact that Saturn is all about discipline, commitment, and overcoming challenges and obstacles, right? I'll get into these cards in a minute. I just want to close off the information on Capricorn and Capricorn being ruled by Saturn. So we spoke about how Saturn is rooted in commitment, and Capricorn's as a whole are very ambitious, responsible people who are efficient, disciplined, and they are not very sensitive when it comes to hurt and when it comes to other people making comments about them. So again, a lot of strength, a lot of resilience. That's one thing that I see here. Then we also had the Magician as well as the Three of Cups pop into your reading group in number 3. Now the Magician corresponds to the number 1. This is the major arcana card that corresponds to 1, and 1 is usually very self-driven, and the Magician is a card that corresponds to Mercury. Now about Mercury. Mercury is the planet of intelligence, but also communication, and it rules Gemini as well as Virgo. So in the Magician, I can see here that communication is something that is on point in your love life, and that's coming as a huge change, that will be on point for you, group number 3, and that overall here with the conjunction in Capricorn, you're doing really well with earth signs, especially Capricorns as well as Virgos. We've got that Gemini aspect within the Magician being ruled by, well, corresponding to Mercury, right? And Gemini, again, is very witty, fun, communicative, and versatile. Next up, within the Three of Cups, there are some things that stand out with the Three of Cups, which is friendship and community. And that is what I see as quite important with your love life. You're not going to give up many friendships when you're with the right person, when you're in this power couple relationship, group number 3. So I hope that you're not cringing too much with me, but you get the gist when I talk about that power couple energy, right? You both are tugging at the same string, pulling in the same direction, trying to move towards the same goals and aspirations, and community is important for you. Also, being philanthropic, I see that that is one thing that you've always wanted to do, and that you're going to be able to fulfill with your romantic partner, given that you're with the right person, and it's going to be a nice marriage, not necessarily just between you and a partner, but you and a partner in the community, your families and your friends. So let's move a little further into your reading, shall we? We've got the Knight of Swords next. Now the Knight of Swords corresponds to the element of air. We did have that Gemini energy here for you, right? As the element of air corresponds to Libras, Aquariuses, and Gemini babies. And I do see here with the Knight of Swords, the Magician, that we've got this air sign energy in an important placement, or maybe even with a conjunction. But let's move further into your reading, group number 3. We've got the Ten of Swords next. The Ten of Swords here shows me that there's some sort of like victim mentality that you just absolutely cannot deal with. And I see within the Three of Cups that you have compassion up until a certain degree, but afterwards, if someone just continues to complain, you kind of zone out and space out, group number 3. There's no other way to put it or to say it. You're not here for people who just play out to be victims. To you, it's really important that, yeah, you have a couple moments to be sad and to cry, but then you get yourself back on your feet and you keep fighting, you keep going. After all, what's the alternative in this life, right? Sure, we can remain sad, and for some of us, depression is something that we battle and struggle with, but you understand that for a lot of people, the victim mentality has helped them move forward in life because they have received a lot of pity from other people, or they have gotten the easy way out in that way. And that's one thing that I can see here, that in your love life, especially should you decide to have children or to be a parent of some sorts with your person, that you are choosing to not have that be a part of the way your children are raised at all. There is no such thing as being the victim or simply feeling as though you're always the one who is unlucky. You are so focused on seeing the glasses half full and the bright side of life, even when things go wrong. So not toxic positivity, group number 3. That's not what I'm getting at, but reminding yourself here that you've got one life to live. And simply being alive is a gift in itself. And even in our darkest moments, we can remind ourselves of the fact that having people who love us having something to care about, or an occupation, having a roof over our heads, having access to internet. All of these things are privileges that a lot of people wish that they had. And while that does not mean that we don't have any issues or that our problems aren't valid, it does mean that we still have things to feel thankful for. And those things can maybe sometimes help us see everything with a bit of a brighter-eyed approach. Next up, we've got faith in the process. Have faith, group number 3. That is a very simple way to put this, but I do see here that for your love life, the more you simply have faith in it and the less that you try to force things, the better your love life will be able to play out and kind of develop. I want to add a few runes into this. I hope this isn't too loud for you, as these crystal runes do make pretty loud noises, group number 3. So let's get into it. Okay, Spirit, what message do you have for group number 3? Okay, we've got 2 runes here for you. On one end, we've got Awaz, which corresponds to the letter E, and then we also have Isa, which corresponds to the letter I. So group 3, let's start off with Awaz. I hope you can see this. Now, Awaz corresponds to the horse when it comes to animals, and it stands for transportation and also partnership, whereas Isa corresponds to ice and there being some sort of standstill or a challenge. So I do see here that between flow and standstill, there is a bit of this challenge in your love life. Okay, either things are moving very quickly or things are seemingly pretty stagnant. So that's where I see that some balance is needed, and maybe even you viewing things with a little bit more of a chill approach could help. So rather than feeling like being single means that your love life is at a standstill or that you're going to be single forever, how about you just see it as, you know, a transit, as the fact that things can still change and things can still grow and develop into a stage that you're happy with, into a type of love life that you're proud of. And if you are in a relationship, don't feel as though going through a bumpy time, it means that it will forever be that way. And try to slow down and really understand and comprehend why challenges are arising, and try to communicate with your partner in a way that gets to the root of the issue, because sometimes we argue with our loved ones about these tiny, petty little things, not because that's actually what bothers us, but because we've got some more deep-seated issues and unresolved feelings about things that hurt us deeply, or situations and traumas that we've experienced in the past that we are then kind of using to lash out at those closest to us with. So getting to the bottom of it and not skimming over anything, and also not forgetting that things can change when everything is going well, and that it's really great for you to have tools to get yourself out of challenging situations as well. So don't take the challenges and everything that you learn from challenges, romantically speaking, for granted. Next up, we've got in the world, not of the world, which corresponds to the number 34. And by the way, faith in the process corresponds to the number 32. So in the world, not of the world, I do see here that being in the moment and simply also enjoying your sensuality is a big part of what's next in your love life. Some of these big unexpected changes. So feeling a lot more comfortable nude, feeling a lot more comfortable just expressing your sensuality as well as the things that you like, your arousal, all of these things. Next up in number 26, we've got relax the hold of darkness and be at cause. So not giving in to some of your demons and some of the darkness that you two have within you, group number 3. And with demons and darkness, I mean, we've all got different things that we deal with, right? For some of us, it's what I mentioned earlier, like depression or an eating disorder. For others, it's body dysmorphia, maybe a deep-seated need of perfectionism and doing things in a way that you gain your society's approval or just societal approval in general. So that is where I can see here that your love life can benefit greatly from you just relaxing and reminding yourself here that it's important for you to follow your heart and have faith not only in the process, but simply be comfortable with the fact that what you like and what feels good for you is enough. It doesn't have to feel good for anyone else, especially when it comes to love. That's such an individual thing. Within trust, we've got this little heart in the center as well as this round kind of shape. So know that at the center of your love life is trust. Without trust, you don't have anything. And if you're finding it hard to trust someone, group number 3. So if you are single and you're finding it very hard to trust another person, ask yourself whether this is the right connection for you. But the same goes for being in a relationship. And even if you've been in a relationship for a very long time, that does not give the person the right to not be trustworthy. Group number 3, just because you've been together for X amount of years doesn't give anyone the rite of passage to have even more of your time that they're entitled to, okay? You can remove yourself out of a relationship where trust is missing at any given moment and restart, because truly, group number 3, you're wasting your time in any connection in which trust isn't the focal point and isn't at the center of the relationship. Next up, we've got mystery. Now, group 3, and mystery, I can see here that there are still some things that are yet to come within your love life that are inexplicable in the sense of hard to put in words. It has to do with arousal, it has to do with sensuality, with trying out some new things. And I see here in connectivity to comfort that it's quite funny because you feel comfortable in this place of mystery and unknowingness. So think, for example, group 3, role play being something that maybe you discover you really enjoy, or even just being alone with yourself, exploring your own body, pleasuring yourself, group number 3, all of these things giving you comfort. And yeah, you're exploring something new that you didn't know you liked before. However, you feel so at comfort and at ease in these situations that you know this is like something you want to continue to explore. And it feels like a huge change for you, especially if you come from a type of background where sensuality is maybe demonized and also in a way rejected. That's one thing that I can see here, that parts of you and parts of sensuality and love that were completely rejected in the place that you grew up in the environment that you were raised in, are now all of a sudden rearing their heads, and all of a sudden you feel like you can do whatever you want, right? Because you're your own boss, you're your own person, and no one has a hold or a say over the things that you try out or choose to not conform to, or choose to make part of your private life, of your love life. So I do see here that this will be part of your love life, and it's going to come as a big surprise that actually people pleasing and rejection is not on the forefront anymore. I see that embracing your body and your needs, your wants, your wishes, that's what you're really diving into, and forgetting about what you've been told, right? Really redefining love and what it means to you. Next up, we've got the peppermint. Now, the peppermint, group 3, is a symbol of success. This is an awesome foreshadowing and foretelling when it comes to your love life, especially as we have a relationship here for you that is all about accomplishing, achieving, being in a relationship that other people are kind of not jealous of, but other people find inspirational and aspirational, and that shows others that you can be in a relationship where you love, work, coexist with one another respectfully, and you're able to break boundaries that people thought existed that you couldn't overcome. So maybe people thought that backgrounds like yours wouldn't be able to be in a successful relationship or marriage. Maybe people felt as though because your character is like this, you will never be able to have a relationship like that. You know how there are these stories or these unspoken rules of society and of love, and you breaking those and still having a more successful love life than most of your peers. I definitely see that that is causing a lot of gossip and a lot of talk. The black mulberry shows me absolute wholeness when it comes to your romantic life and your love life, group number 3. And this coming as a big change just makes you feel like you're on top of the world. The black mulberry also corresponds to the number 33, which is a master number. And the master number 33 is the number of the teacher. So you're really meant to inspire and to teach others with the experiences that you go through romantically and with the different ways in which your romantic life will inspire others who come from a similar background such as you do. Next up, we've got the sorrel, which shows me lots of affection here romantically for you. There we go. The sorrel should be nice and clear for you to see now, group number 3. In the sorrel, I also see this feeling of not only receiving affection, but being able to freely give affection because you've taken the time to reflect. I see that here within the mirror and the cat. You were kind of a mystery to yourself. Your body may have been a mystery for you, especially if you grew up in a background where exploring your body was shamed or was seen as something bad, something unclean, and something that you shouldn't be doing. That's almost like a forbidden act. So I do see here that through self-exploration and getting to know yourself, you are then able to receive affection in such a pure way without feeling like, oh, you're doing something wrong or something bad. I see that as a big unforeseen change for you, group number 3. You're able to simply enjoy adult relationships and all of the different facets that those come with, whether it be sensual, whether it be just doing day-to-day mundane things with one another. As a huge change from what you're used to, you can simply enjoy these aspects without feeling self-conscious and without your past or your heritage haunting you in any type of way. Next up, we've got the 4 of Swords. Now, group 3 is the next big unforeseen changes coming for you in the 4 of Swords. I can see here that rest, contemplation, and quiet preparation for the next stages in your love life are taking place. And this is kind of a big change because in the past, when you were going through different cycles in love, you felt more anxious, you were kind of freaking out, and you weren't really trusting of love and just the entire establishment of relationships, okay? But I see here within the 4 of Swords that that's changing, and rather than feeling like you can't trust another person, you go inwards and you try to find answers within why you are feeling so nervous about it, and if anything has to do with you and the experiences that you've been through. So you're not putting partners and friends in the now through hell because of what someone did to you in the past that still is causing some sort of effect or wave for you emotionally speaking. Next up, we've got the 6 of Swords, group number 3. Now in the 6 of Swords, you're definitely going through a huge journey internally and mentally speaking. The 6 of Swords corresponds to just overall recovering from a hard time emotionally, from a hard time that you went through with communicating with others, being open, and sometimes this can also state going through some light seasonal depression as well. But I do see here within the 7 of Cups that at a certain point you have the choice to change that. You have the choice to kind of remove yourself from feeling blue, from feeling down, from feeling like you don't know what's going on in your love life, and you can choose a new fresh path where you know that it's up to you whether you move forward feeling good about yourself and your love life, or whether you continue to remain sad for a little bit, because sometimes we've got a choice. Sometimes we can remain sad for longer than necessary, and it's hard to realize this because sometimes, group number 3, I too just have some moments where I just want to cry it out, where I just want to be sad, but you also have to remind yourself when you've taken time to do that, and you know you've cried it out, and now you can move forward again. And that's one thing that I can see here, that the timing will be completely up to you when you enter a new fun cycle. Next up, we've got the Princess of Swords. Now, group number 3, in the Princess of Swords, we've got this notion of someone who is truthful and youthful, someone who has a lot of fortitude and simply just wants to experience more of life. And that's what I see here within love. It's exciting, it's fun. You simply want more out of life with a partner, and that is so right. That is so justified and okay, group number 3. And I don't want anyone to ever make you feel like you are high maintenance or anything like that. If there are people trying to sell that to you, trying to make you feel like that is your story, group number 3, give them the side eye. Know that that is so untrue, as I can see here within the Princess of Swords, that of course it's your right to explore more of life with a partner, to want more of a relationship than, you know, the simple commitment. You want to experience things, you want to have fun, you want to go through ups and downs, to be there for one another, for better or for worse. And if anyone is making you feel like that is too much to ask for, then, well, maybe their definition of a relationship is just different than yours, but that doesn't mean that you should be shamed into lowering the bar or lowering your standards. So if there's one thing you take from this reading, group number 3, that is to keep your standards high. That is to relax when it comes to knowing your expectations are so valid and so able to be met, and that you are reasonable, you are mature, and to just trust the process when it comes to your love life. Now, group number 3, this is the reading that I received for you about the next big unexpected changes that are coming towards you. I hope that you enjoyed this and that you found it insightful. Let me know below in the comment section how you liked your reading, whether it resonated with you. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up to let me, as well as the algorithm, know that this was a great video and a great reading for you. So thank you for being here, and I hope that you could appreciate my honesty. I'm sending you so much love, and I can't wait to speak to you during one of my upcoming predictions. Hello, group number 4, Vanessa Somuayina here. So let's get into it. The next big unforeseen changes that are coming for you. You chose the Divine Feather Messenger Oracle deck to help guide you, and I'm going to get straight into it. So just lean back, relax, and enjoy group number 4. So you felt drawn to this particular feather. Now, this particular feather belongs to the Starling, group number 4. And the message behind the Starling is that now is the time to get out into the world and connect in authentic ways. So some of your big unforeseen changes are going to have to do with you being authentic, with you getting out more, maybe quite literally coming out of the closet, whether that be coming out of the closet when it comes to the way you want to live your life, whether that be going after your passions and the things that light you up. Either way, your next big unforeseen changes have everything to do with inner strength. In case you didn't see that, group number 4, the Strength card popped right out of the pile of tarot cards that I was using to continue on into your reading with, and the Strength card corresponds to the number 8, and it is a card of not only strength but also patience as well as compassion, and it speaks of having self-control and your strength coming from a deep inner type of strength. So never using your power in order to kind of hold that over other people, but using a deep-seated inner strength to not only be in a peaceful place with yourself, but to know that you're doing everything in your power to lead the most authentic life you can, and being proud of yourself from the inside. That's what I see here within the Strength card, as well as your natural connection to the Starling. But let's move further into your reading, shall we? We've got the Ace of Wands. Actually, actually reversed that showed up for you. I just quickly turned that around so you could see what the Ace of Wands looks like. Now, with the Ace of Wands showing up in reverse, I see that some of the big unexpected changes that are coming towards you have to do with your creative force, but I see some blockages there. We're going to talk about these blockages. And group 4, I hope that you can appreciate my honesty. I am an honest reader, so if you're looking for someone who will just tell you what you want to hear, this is not the channel for you. But all of you, or most of you, I know are here because you appreciate the fact that I am direct and very real with you. So as mentioned, the Ace of Wands shows me here that when it comes to your creative force as well as the enthusiasm that's behind it, there are some things that you still want to work on. There are some things that you definitely need to take a little bit of time to look at, because some writer's block or creator's block is really real for you, group number 4. And a way to get over that, I see here within the Hanged Woman, is to not push yourself so much. So in the Hanged Woman, I can see that you've definitely pushed yourself far too much in the past. You've done too much that has caused you more distress than necessary, that has put too much pressure on you. And that then in turn has caused this creator block, right? That has caused you to be unable to properly move forward in a way that's healthy, to properly feel as though you're in control of your life and you're in control over your creative force. So putting a lot of pressure on yourself is a reoccurring thing here. And as a big unexpected change, know that you're taking your power back. I see that within the Strength card as well as the Sterling. And you're learning that sometimes more is less, less is more. You understand what I'm getting at, group number 4. Next up, we've got the Princess of Swords as well as the Nine of Wands. Let's talk about this. Now, in the Princess of Swords, I can see you being very real, open, and honest, and also not being afraid to talk to someone about very difficult topics. So using your mind wisely and also just being truthful about what you need. I see that here in connectivity to the Hanged Woman, that can help you really create space for new projects as well as, again, creative force. And in the Nine of Wands, I do also see here that your perseverance is what's super important. And your perseverance here is changing positively. I see more strength in it. I see that more than ever, you are super enthused and excited to be yourself, to express yourself, and to show the world what you're made of, group number 4. And you're no longer going to hide away from the world or hide who you truly are. As I see here within the Four of Swords, that you've done that for a really long time. The Four of Swords is not only a card of rest, but also a card of contemplation and quiet preparation. And that's one thing you've been doing. You've been prepping to have your next big debut. You're coming out, showing the world what you're really made of, and not being afraid to properly express yourself, group number 4. That's one thing that I can see that we've got enough of, that you're breaking free of, and that you're finally going to have your big aha moments where you know, like, now's the time to come out. Now's the time for you to show what you're capable of, and to no longer feel as though other people are more worthy of success than you for whatever reason. Okay, group number 4, you're so worthy of accomplishing everything you've ever dreamt to accomplish. Now, it's important for you to believe that, because whether you think that you can or you think that you cannot, you're right. That quote really is true. Next up, we've got defend to the end the worthwhile. Remind yourself here that if it's something that you're dreaming about, if it's something that's important to you, defend it. It is so worthwhile, and don't let anyone tell you that it's not, okay? If it's something that means something to you, group number 4, then it's important. It doesn't have to be important to anyone else. It doesn't have to be important in society. If you care about it, that's all that matters. Now, whether that is, for example, giving an animal a shelter, whether that is a cause that not many people are interested in, or whether that is someone's simply respecting your boundaries. If you, for example, tell them not to talk to you in a certain way, if it is important to you, then it is worth it. The end. Group number 4, you don't have to justify why you feel a certain way. You don't have to make yourself smaller just in order to fit in. If it's important to you, that's all that matters. And remind yourself here that a lot of people put their needs before other people's needs without even thinking twice about it. Okay, there are a lot of people who are very wealthy and very powerful in this world, group number 4, who do that and have gotten to where they are by continuously doing that. So don't allow yourself to be undermined or to be made a fool of just because people try to make you feel as though the things that matter to you aren't actually important. I see here in what is already with you that you've got everything that you need, and this is a big unforeseen change that's coming towards you, this epiphany, this fresh start, this aha moment as soon as your creative juices are flowing again. As mentioned within the Ace of Wands and the Hanged Woman, there will be a little hiccup at first, okay, until you get to understand how your creativity works, how you can switch it on almost like with a remote, and in which ways you can foster more creativity for yourself. That's one thing that I can see that's really changing, that will be like a moment of enlightenment. And once you have that moment of enlightenment take place, group number 4, know here in what's already with you that you will realize you never needed approval or anything from the outer world, that everything that you need in order to accomplish greatness and in order to feel happy with your existence is within you and is within reach. Next up, we've got in the world and not of the world. I see you being really in the moment, right? Understanding here what is important to you and what types of things that you don't want to spend so much time and energy worrying about. And I do also see within in the world, not of the world, that being in the moment and being mindful is taking on a whole new meaning for you. And this may come through an experience that is really scary, and it doesn't necessarily have to happen to you. It could be a friend or a family member who has a health scare and a type of hiccup health-wise that reminds you all just of how short life truly is and can be. So that is where I see that you're understanding that living absolutely every moment to the max and reminding yourself that life is only as fun as you allow it to be, so you might as well just have a good time in every moment, whether you're laughing or crying. The fact that you are allowed to experience emotion, whether they are challenging or really easy to stomach, it is a privilege and it is worth celebrating. So we have a card that popped right into your reading for you. We've got the daffodil. So if you have been feeling down, group number 4, know here that as a big unforeseen change, there is more hope on the horizon. And through this type of health scare situation that's happening within close vicinity to you, that gives you hope again, because you are reminded of what's truly important, and you are reminded of the fact that money isn't the most important thing. Material things are not as important as they're made out to be in many nooks and crannies of society. But at the same time, if you have means to, of course, afford to pay medical bills and insurances and keep a roof over your head, that definitely lessens anxiety, and it definitely makes suffering more comfortable, right? Because after all, it is a lot more comforting to have a roof over your head and to know that you can pay medical bills if you're, for example, not feeling well, than being in that same situation physically and medically. But on top of that, not even knowing how you're going to feed yourself, right? So I definitely see here that you're putting a whole new focus on health and longevity, and also not being flashy with things, but enough financial resources being here to where if you're in a difficult situation, you don't have to worry about your basic needs being covered. Next up, we've got the basil. So in the basil, or basil, however you'd like to say it, group number 4, you've got this trust, you've got this clairvoyant part to you, to your personality, where you can kind of see the future already, group number 4, where you can already tell You're going in the right direction. Now, all you need to do is put your determination there and keep it pushing, right? While times may be hard if you're just starting a job or you're just beginning, to be financially smart and have your priorities in these places, such as insurances, such as retirement funds. If you're just starting with that and you're just building your financial intelligence, it can be hard, right? Because it's a big change from spending money on unnecessary things, but trusting and also knowing that there is hope that you will get to the place where you're stable and where you have all areas covered to the maximum degree. That is definitely keeping you going and keeping you on the right track. So we've got the potato or potato, however you'd like to say. We've got the pansy as well as the violet. So we've got a lot of purple here. First, I kind of want to talk about the violet and the pansy. So purple is a very royal type of regal color. It's always been very special and mysterious, and it's been connected to psychic abilities too. In the violet, I can see here that simply having this inner knowing and inner strength that we also spoke about here in the strength card, that is what lessens your anxiety and keeps you calm and grounded. So it also makes sense as to why the potato would have showed up within your reading, as the potato reassures us of just that, the fact that grounding energy surrounds this entire situation and the next big changes that are coming towards you. Then within the pansy, I also see that you're attracting something new. You're attracting something that's going to make some big waves and big changes. Now, I want to see how you're feeling before we get into exactly what this is. So let's keep it really fun and figure out what your emotions are when it comes to this thing that you're attracting that's going to make a big difference for you. Okay, we've got rejection. So you are attracting something that's kind of in a way making you think of rejection. And I do see here within trust. Oh, okay. So you are rejecting something, group number 4, because you trust that there's better. So this may mean, if you're single or in a relationship actually, that you are attracting a different person or opportunity that you are rejecting respectfully because you know it's just not the right opportunity, and you're able to do so with inner peace, calm, and tranquility because you know you have trust in the fact that there is better out there for you, that there is more to come. You have trust in the fact that your future is bright and you don't have to settle for things that don't completely align with you. So you trust that even if you reject one opportunity, you will attract another one fairly quickly, group number 4. So this is really beautiful to see. I was worried there for a second when we had rejection show up for you, because obviously I will tell you if there are some challenges here, but of course nobody likes to be the bearer of challenging news, but to see this be the rejection scenario is really awesome. So let's move into some runes too. I want to add some runes into your reading so we can garner some more information. So you may want to turn your volume down a little bit, as these crystal runes can be a little bit loud, but I know some of you really like the sound. So let's see what we've got. Okay, Spirit. Let's see what you've got for group number 4 when it comes to runes. So let me just put them in a way how you can see their symbols. Okay, I just want to lay them in a way that you can properly see them, group number 4. So for 1 here in the rune on the left, we've got Vunyo, which corresponds to a feeling of joy and success. Okay, this is a rune of peace and just like this inner knowing. So that makes a lot of sense with what we just spoke about, with you rejecting certain opportunities and people because you just know there is better out there for you. So I'll just put that right over here on rejection for you. Now let's decipher this rune for you too, group number 4. So I believe we've got Awaz here, and Awaz is all about stability. Awaz actually corresponds to the letter Y, and and it definitely speaks of reliability as well as enlightenment. So you feeling this sense of just knowing, of feeling like you can rely on what is to come in the future and what is to come next. We spoke about that within rejection and trust being the emotions that you're feeling here when it comes to the next big unforeseen changes. So your runes are definitely verifying what we've seen so far within your reading, group number 4, and I can't wait to see what else we've got. Okay, the 7 of Cups. You can't make this up. The 7 of Cups is all about choices. It's all about there being a lot of different routes and paths that you can take. Furthermore, the 7 of Cups is also about not just options, but also understanding here when it is wishful thinking and when there's actually good reason to reject certain opportunities because there are better ones that lie ahead. So I see another confirmation here of you having a lot of options, and the fact that this isn't wishful thinking. It is actually true that you've got better options coming for you, so you don't have to settle for less. Any opportunity in business or in love that you're not sure of, pass up on it, group number 4. You don't need to take it. You've got other things coming for you that will spark a lot more joy. Next up, we've got Temperance. Now, Temperance shows me here the sense of inner peace. The Temperance card corresponds to the number 14, and it is actually correspondent to Sagittarius. Temperance is about education, but also travel, finding balance as well as health, and having that combination, right, between knowing when you can do better, but also understanding when it's the right time to go for an opportunity. As I told you here within the Temperance card, which corresponds to Sagittarius, Sagittarius being its main correspondent is a sign that is ruled by Jupiter, and Sagittarius is actually a fire sign, in case you didn't know that. Sagittarius is very optimistic and honest, as well as a little restless, if you will, which we can see here within the Temperance card. It is definitely depicted with a lot of things going on, right, and finding balance in those things. And as mentioned, Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter by default, and Jupiter is the planet of abundance, of generosity, positivity, but also luck and good fortune. So I see here that by keeping a calm head and not making any impulsive or hasty decisions, you're actually attracting so much goodness into your life. Do you know those people, group number 4, that seem to just always take things in a really chill way? They're never stressed out. They never seem to be out of balance, and somehow everything just works out for them. Yeah, okay, so that is some of the big changes that I see here coming for you next that you absolutely did not expect. You're part of that club. You're being invited right into it. Next up, we've got the 3 of Wands. So you're climbing up the ladder, okay? You are moving from one spot on the ladder to the next one that's higher up. You are exploring new areas, which could also mean climbing the hierarchy in your job. So I do see climbing up the hierarchy socially and professionally for you, and I can see that you're rejecting certain opportunities business-wise in order to take on better ones. So let me explain this to you, group number 4, in another way. So for example, when it comes to my business, and also let's just talk about YouTube. Let's not even talk about Bow Life and the decks that I've published and things like that. Let's just talk about YouTube, which, by the way, Bow Life has a very exciting new project that's coming soon, so make sure that you stay watchful here in this space on YouTube as well as Instagram, because I know a lot of you are going to absolutely love what's dropping soon. But let's talk about YouTube as mentioned. So sponsorships, for example. You would not believe the amount of companies that want to do sponsorships, for example. So you've got to be really picky. And while I could take a lot more sponsorships on, I only work with brands who really resonate with me, that I know I absolutely love. So here within the 3 of Wands, it is not about the speed, right, at which we do projects, it's about quality. And that's what I see in the Three of Wands for you, using my little YouTube example as an analogy. So you saying no to a lot of opportunities, just as I explained to you, saying no to sponsorships, for example, it is not something that is hindering you, right? Rejecting things that don't align with you, actually, that is what creates longevity when it comes to your success. That is what creates integrity in you as a person and your business. And it shows other people that you can't be bought, that you are only going to do things that are really in alignment with your morals and your values. Next up, we've got the Six of Cups. Now, in the Six of Cups, I can see a lot of generosity and giving, and I can see that here, the more you are stuck within the ways that you have for yourself, right? For example, taking the moral high road, ensuring that everything that you do aligns with your own integrity, with your morals, with your values. I see that the more people will actually offer you. So it's almost like you making yourself a rare commodity and you showing that you can't be bought and things really need to align with you. That is actually bringing more opportunities. It's opening up more doors for you because people know they can't just get you. And for you to really co-sign something, it has to be meaningful. So I can see that some big unexpected changes are coming in the form of new doors and new passageways opening up for you. And these things are mostly happening because you're rejecting lots of opportunities, because you're being very picky. And that shows that air of strength, inner peace, and confidence, and the fact that you know your worth and your value, and you're not going to lower it for anyone or any price. Now, group number 4, this is part 1 of your reading. I will now clear and cleanse the space for you so we can delve a little more into the topics of love and more details about your career, as well as your social life, your friendships, your connections. So just lean back, continue to enjoy your reading. Make sure that you leave a little candy emoji below in the comment section if you've made it to this point within your reading. But as mentioned, I'm taking my time and I want you to know that I'm just here for you, okay? We're just chilling. We're just like two squirrel friends spending time talking to each other, uplifting one another, and creating a healthy mindset, creating some healthy thoughts, cultivating a healthy space in order for the next big unexpected changes to be able to flourish and to have a positive impact on our lives. Okay, group number 4, let's delve a little further into the next big unexpected changes that are coming towards your life. So let's move into it with a few runes. Now I want to talk about your love life. So whether you're single or in a relationship, I want you to know that there are important messages about the big changes that are coming next for you here within this divine time and space. So let's first get into it with some runes. Let's see what Spirit has picked out for you. Okay, so we've got 3 different runes for you, group number 4. Let's start with the first rune, shall we? Let's decipher this. Now, within the first rune, we have Manas. So Manas corresponds to the letter M, and it's all about the self. It's about friends as well as culture. So that is important within your love life, having things in common with a lover. Next up, let's decipher our next rune that we've got. We've got Rido, which corresponds to the letter R. It actually looks like an R too. Not all of these runes look like the letters that they correspond to. So Rido is about traveling, a destiny, and it also means a wagon. That's the kind of symbol that it stands for. So here in connectivity to Manas, I can see here that it's going to be like a journey that you're going through in your love life, but also traveling with other couples and other people. That's one thing that I can see here for your romantic situation. So last but not least, this is the third rune that we've got. Now this rune corresponds to Gabo, and Gabo rainbow is actually a symbol of a gift, of love, of a marriage or a partnership. So I do see here that you are meant to be in a partnership, a committed one, a marriage most likely, group number 4. And we also had in Rido the kind of like journey, right? The travel aspect to it and doing it for a community. So maybe also traveling for philanthropic causes with a partner, with someone whom you're married to, group number 4, and making a change, a positive change within this world, because community is important in your love life. You're not only about yourself and your partner, and you're not going to be in a marriage that is filled with drama or dishonesty. No, you are actually preoccupied with leaving the world in a better condition than you found it in. That's one thing that I can see that really connects you and your lover. Next up, we've got the marigold. So your romantic situation, group number 4, a big unexpected change is just that positivity is what you're seeking, and you're growing out of any relationships that have to do with a lot of gossip or drama. That's not for you anymore. You don't want to spend your time doing that. You're more about seeing the world and also doing as much as you can when it comes to helping others, right? Philanthropy, we spoke about that. Then we've got the peppermint as well as the cause lettuce. Now the peppermint shows me that because you'll be successful with your partner, you've got time for this. Just think about that, group number 4. If you're in a relationship or in a marriage that is riddled with problems or trust issues or extramarital affairs, things like that, of course you won't have any time whatsoever to invest in other projects, right? You'll be kind of busy fixing your marriage. But I do see here that the person with whom you're meant to be with is someone with whom you can simply focus on successes, on positivity, and on building. I see here within the cause lettuce that what actually makes you really desire and crave being around your partner more is the fact that you are not going to be in a relationship, or you're not meant to be in a relationship where you're focused so much on the relationship, right? Your partner is meant to be like a best friend, like an ally, like someone who you can just always count on, like your favorite sweater that's got your back all the time. And I can definitely see here that because you're not meant to just have your relationship at the center of things, it's meant to enhance your life, not be the epicenter of your existence. I see here within the lemon that before this is going to take place, there is this big clean out, this big cleansing of energy. And group number 4, if you're currently in a relationship where you feel like it's more drama than it's worth, that is going to be cleared out before this happens. If you are single, know that you're going to clear the slate with anyone who you're kind of seeing that's not a serious relationship, because the person who you're meant to be with is going to take any doubts away from you as to whether it is the right relationship for you or not, because it's just going to work so effortlessly and you'll be able to focus on bigger things than just the relationship fairly quickly into the connection. I see here within the fig that longevity, vitality, lifestyle, those things are really important when it comes to love and your romantic situation, group number 4. So being healthy and staying vital, staying sane, that is one of the main things. And you and your partner are going to make it a point to not get carried away by flashy things, by nice things, by accomplishments in the material realm, or what type of social standpoint that you've got. And I do also see here that you are going to be with someone who is so successful to the point that they don't need to prove that, right? They know their worth and their value. So whether they are a doctor or a businessman that's well respected, that is not the core of their identity. The core of their identity is the fact that they have a desire to do more in this world and to spread more love, to spread more care, and to show that there are still people out here who care about more than just themselves. I see here within receiving that it's really the more that you give, the more you will receive individually and also as a couple, also in the relationship that you're meant to be in, group number 4. So I see that a big unexpected change for you is just also how much you're able to receive, how much is going to come towards you. And in the past, you may have felt uncomfortable, okay? So someone maybe wanted to give you a gift or for you to receive attention. You may have just said, no, I kind of don't need that. That's a little too much. And that can sometimes be a reflection of how you feel about yourself and your own worth, group number 4. But I see that receiving is happening comfortably and easily for you and moving forward. And that's really beautiful to see as an attribute that's growing within you. And I see that focusing on the light is what you're doing. Receiving from someone doesn't mean that you're conceited or that you're egotistical, group number 4. It actually shows that you not only care about yourself, but you also care about the person who is trying to give you something, because it feels good to give, group number 4. And if you're denying people of that feeling and the ability to give you something, that is also kind of taking away from the relationship, right? So I do see here within focusing on the light that being more rooted in the positives, as we spoke about in the marigold, is what's meant to happen here within your love life. Next up, we've got faith in the process. Now, group number 4. You need to hear this if you're single and if you've been worried about finding the right person or ever being in a relationship that really serves you and that's healthy, especially if you've had relationships that have scarred you, that have caused some sort of emotional trauma. It can bring you to your knees. It can make you want to never be in a relationship again. I completely understand that, and I empathize with that, group number 4, if that is you. But also understand here within faith in the process that it is important for you to remember that just because something went wrong doesn't mean that it can't go right for you again, group number 4. Don't write any opportunities off when it comes to love. That is an important message that Spirit has for you here and wants to bring to you, as Spirit can see that you need to hear this. Next up, we've got free from judgment, free to love. That part, group number 4, we can't make this up. This is no coincidence. If you're the type of person who also does not believe in coincidences and feels as though it is meaningful to receive certain cards at certain points in your life, such as right now that you're sitting down to receive this reading, whether you're in the middle of commuting to somewhere or you're just sitting down having a beverage, chilling, watching your reading, it is meaningful that aside from deciding to do that and come to this magical space that is my channel, you are receiving this card about being free from judgment and being free to love, having faith in the process after we just spoke about not allowing for experiences that were unpleasant to shut you off from being open and to shut your heart out from being able to receive love. Don't let anyone have that power over you, group number 4. No matter how brutal a breakup may have been, or no matter how hard it may have been to lose a loved one in the past and to feel heartache, know that you are capable of loving again, but you have to have faith in the process of love, and you have to remove judgment from what happened in the past so you can be free to love. Otherwise, you're just kind of like bound in chains and you fall victim to past experiences, and you give those past experiences and people who did things to you or situations that were unfortunate all of the power. And we don't want to do that, group number 4. So okay, we have another card that wants to speak before I say any more. So let's see what it is. We've got the 11th house. Wow, this is really interesting because the 11th house is the house of community. And we spoke about manas, right, being a part of your runes, which is also about culture and friends right up here. Now, the 11th house isn't only the house of community, but it's also the house of friends, of luck. It corresponds to the zodiac sign sign of Aquarius. So flexing your 11th house and the default being in Aquarius, which is really independent, rebellious, as well as fun and detached from anything, is what the universe really wanted to say to you right now. Again, no coincidences. There's a reason why this card was just pulled into your reading with so much force. I'm not sure if you saw how that card flung out. It's like it wanted to talk. It wanted to tell you, hey, your 11th house is important here. It's ruled by Aquarius, which is detached, right? Which is original, which is freedom-loving, fun, and which never holds on to grudges and doesn't let past experiences dictate the future. So especially when it comes to community, which is what the 11th house stands for, when it comes to friends, groups, just overall, the spaces in which you spend time with other people, don't let past experiences dictate or form your future. Don't limit yourself and limit your possibilities and options socially as well as romantically in that way, group number 4, because especially if you are single and you're looking to mingle, you're looking to be with someone, if you limit your exposure to meeting other people and making new friendships and connections, you may just miss out on a soulmate or on a twin flame that you were meant to be with. But let's move a little further into your reading. We've got the Descendant. In the Descendant, I can see here that the best way for you to actually invite new people in is, to be open to be a part of a new community. Maybe that means being part of a Facebook group if there is a certain group that you really vibe with or a certain hobby that you want to get into more. And it could be the quote unquote strangest thing. And strange is only very subjective. If you're very into bird watching, for example, why not join a community or a group, whether it be like on Facebook, Instagram, or in real life if you have that opportunity close by, where you can connect with new people with whom you already have something in common with, and that's often already really fertile grounds for conversation, for relationships to form out of, for bonds, for this feeling of knowing that there is community around you and there are people who are just like you or very similar to you with whom you can talk to and be open with. Next up, we've got Taurus. So I see that a big, unexpected, and unforeseen change that's coming for you has to do with a Taurus, maybe even the 11th house being in a Taurus. And I see here that within this earth sign, we've got stability. That's a big part of your love life. And this is definitely something that resonates throughout your love reading, right? There being so much stability here that there's no drama in the relationship. There's no kind of question as to whether you want to be with your person. That's very clear. So that's why you have so much time for other things with your person, such as, for example, hobbies, travel, helping out in the community building, and maybe even traveling to distant places on this planet to help people in a philanthropic way. Furthermore, Taurus is a sign that is ruled by Venus, and Venus is the planet of love as well as beauty. So remind yourself here that with love and values and beauty being represented in Taurus, that this is really what your relationship kind of exudes energetically. It not only exudes love, but it's also beautiful for other people to watch your relationship and watch your romantic life, because it actually is like the depiction of what a healthy relationship and situation looks like. And a lot of people crave that. I see here within progressions that nevertheless, it's a journey, right? It's never going to be 100% perfect or always be the same. There will be ups and downs. So group number 4, don't feel as though this means that there will never be any challenges in your relationship. Of course, there will be situations where you feel as though you are going head to head with your partner, where there is some friction. But I see here within progression that because you're so focused on that very fact, right, that it's progression, it's not a up and down. Friction arises when there are areas of the relationship in which you can get to know one another better and learn to cooperate more effectively. That's what friction or arguments are to you. It's not like, oh, great, we don't get along here. We have two different opinions, or why doesn't my partner think the same way as I do? For you, that's like, wow, this is an interesting part of the relationship in which we have not learned to communicate well just yet, in which we can still be better, in which we can still improve. This is very interesting because while so many areas of the relationship work, maybe we just found an area of the relationship where we could improve, where we could get to know each other a little more, where we could understand where each of us is coming from. So everything has a very positive, very philosophical outlook in your love life. That is what I see as a big change that's coming for you, group number 4, especially if you grew up in a household, for example, where toxic relationships were encouraged or tolerated. Okay, we've got 2 cards that want to speak. I see here we have on one hand the Devil and also the 9 of Pentacles. So there is some deception and something taking place here within the Devil that you are meant to hear. And not everything that glitters is gold. Keep that in mind here, because in the Devil I see some sort of contract, some sort of bondage and materialism that causes ignorance, because there is promise of a lot of material wealth. And in connectivity to love, I see that it's important for you to be the one that keeps their head clear and also does not see things with like pink glasses, so to say, group number 4, because you or your partner may receive an offer in your career, right? Because the 9 of Pentacles corresponds to the area of your life that has to do with money, finances, materialism. And rather than remembering what sacrifices you may have to make here within the Devil, you're kind of focused on the 9 of Pentacles, which is all about accomplishing a lot, having a lot to spend, a lot of fulfillment really in the earthly realms, a lot of extra money, but you're not seeing what it's costing you, because not all money is good money. Keep that in mind here. And that is one area of the relationship in which you have to be really mindful and careful, because there are certain opportunities that will present themselves with jobs where you may end up actually jeopardizing your relationship because you won't have very much time for your partner, or you may be kind of sacrificing some of your morals, values, and your integrity just in order to make more money or to go after some sort of scenario that was promised to you. And your partner is going to see that and is not going to like that. You're maybe not going to like yourself for making that decision and beat yourself up for it. And that will then cause a little bit of difficulty and challenge within the relationship, but it can be avoided, group number 4. That's the most important thing. That's why you're here. That's why you're receiving this reading. So keep in mind here within the Devil that sometimes there are very tempting offers, especially in the earthly realms. People will say that they found a way to create financial independence without one actually having to work, or to create a scenario in which you can make obscene amounts of money with just a little investment, quote unquote, little investment, right? Don't fall for those things, group number 4. I definitely see here that people will try to bring that into your love life and will try to sway you and your lover to think that it is for you when it's really not. Next up, we've got the 4 of Swords, group number 4. The 4 of Swords shows me here taking some time to relax, to rest, to contemplate some quiet preparation. That's what I see here in the 4 of Swords. And when it comes to any romantic relationships, I see that quiet time, alone time, rest is so important. Taking lots of naps and also allowing for one another to have time to prepare for the day. So having 2 separate morning routines, having time individually is really important for your romantic life. The 9 of Swords shows me here that insomnia or some sort of trouble sleeping is part of some of the big changes that you need to deal with, group number 4. Now, I hope you can appreciate the honesty here, because either you or your partner, there's going to be some sort of insomnia, some trouble sleeping, some trouble resting and winding down, and it's going to cause some sort of changes, but those changes don't need to be negative, because maybe you just just need to refine your rest routine or your winding down routine at the end of the day. Maybe you simply cannot be on your phone or watch TV till the moment you go to bed, or even watch movies from bed. Maybe you simply need to read or take time away from screens way earlier in order to combat not being able to get the rest that you need. I see within the Two of Cups, which is actually one of the most favorable cards when it comes to romantic situations. This is a minor arcana card of the Suit of Cups, which is the suit of water that shows partnership, friendship, as well as love, that you're going to work together with your person. There's a lot of respect here. There's a true connection, almost like a truce between you and your person, and a sincere attraction that allows for you to help one another, support one another through difficult times, and especially through situations in which you both need to deal with things that aren't easy. Next up, we have the Tower for you, group number 4. Now in the Tower, I see some big unexpected changes that are coming towards you that are super sudden, and it's going to be like a revelation, like a release, and it can be really, really chaotic too. So think of the Tower as a big aha moment, as an epiphany that's coming as a big unexpected change within your love life, group number 4. You can't control this. You're unable to kind of put your finger on why this is happening, but do know here within the Tower that this sudden change is definitely going to hit you as a huge surprise. And I want to figure out a little bit more information about this and how this is going to affect the relationship, why this is happening, and maybe even the root of it. Next up, we have the Queen of Pentacles. Okay, so a sudden change in the earthly realms. After all, the Suit of Pentacles corresponds to the element of earth and the earthly realms, such as your job, your health, your time commitments, and so on. The Queen of Pentacles is actually pretty good at that. Oh, okay, we also had the King of Pentacles. So a partnership between the Queen and the King of Pentacles. This can sometimes come with friction, but overall, they are both of the similar mindset when it comes to business, that it's most important for the business to be able to survive. Like, for example, there is no point in a business that is 100% sustainable and ethical and all of these things if the business itself isn't going to survive, right? We need to do and come up with business plans where businesses that strive for the economic as well as social and political equality, we need for those businesses to survive and thrive, not for capitalistic businesses that undermine people's values and undermine people's rights and discriminate, to laugh in the faces of businesses that are trying to be better because they are never going to be feasible or sustainable, right? That is the worst thing that we can do at this day and age. We need to set ourselves up for success. And that's where I can see here in the Tower that any ideas that are not sustainable with longevity, you're kind of just throwing them out the window. It's happening very quickly. And this is happening in a way that is very raw, that is very unforgiving. And I do see here in the Queen of Pentacles and the King of Pentacles that your love life is going to be mixed to some degree with business. So think of working with a partner or a spouse, for example, and creating a business and something financially that can sustain you. While you may still have your own jobs, I see that being part of the relationship too. The Four of Cups here shows me that you're unimpressed by some of the things that are happening in your partner's business strategies. And I see within your reading, group number 4, that part of the big changes that are coming for you have to do with being very open-minded and not taking things personally when you're talking about business. I see within the Five of Cups that pettiness doesn't have a place at the table. There's no point in that, as the Five of Swords shows me here that when you're being very honest about one another's ideas when it comes to financial planning in the relationship, there is a way to do it, right? We can be honest and be very blunt and hurt one another, or as we have here within the Two of Pentacles, we can find that balance between being real and honest and talking about business, but also being kind to our partners and the people with whom we're trying to work with, who we deeply care about and love. So it's all about finding that balance and finding that perfect little center point, that middle ground that you can meet them on. But let's add a few more cards to the reading. We've got the 10 of Wands. Now, the 10 of Wands shows me here romantically for you, group number 4, that sometimes you will definitely overextend yourself romantically, and that's when it's important for you to take some steps back and to take time to relax and really chill. As the World card shows me that overall romantically, some of the big unforeseen changes are actually going to bring you fulfillment. The World card is a card that signifies that the world is your oyster, basically, group number 4. So hooray, this is one of the best cards that you can receive. It is a major arcana card, one of the 2 major arcana cards in the tarot deck that consists of 78 different cards. And the World card shows me here that there's nothing really that you could want for when it comes to love. This is a big change that's coming for you. All of these little points of friction and tension, they are literally just tiny things in a big picture that is working beautifully for you when it comes to love. Now, the Queen of Swords here shows me that one part of you that you will never lose is your honesty, is the fact that you want to be forthright, that you are witty, but at the same time, you will never say something just to comfort someone that isn't untrue. You will never coddle anyone with a lie, whether that is a partner, whether that is a child, a friend, a coworker. You will always be as honest as you possibly can be, because that is just part of who you are, group number 4. That is the integrity that you want to not only be symbolic of, but that you also want other people to bring to you. So you're showing up in the world in the way that you want others to show up to you, to show up to your doorstep. And this is a quality that a lot of people highly appreciate within you, group number 4. Okay, so group number 4, I really hope that you've been enjoying your reading so far. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to clear and cleanse the space for you just one more time, so we can ask Spirit if there are any other messages about big unforeseen changes that we have not covered just yet, so we can figure out if there's anything else that you need to know. So I'll just do that for you. Lean back, relax, and we'll just get into it one last short little time to make sure that we've covered absolutely everything for you, group number 4. Okay, group number 4, are you ready for the last and final round of laying the cards for you? Because I know I am. So we've got the 10 of Wands, then we've got the Page of Swords, as well as the Queen of Cups. So in the 10 of Wands, first and foremost, I can see here that there is some sort of ending that's coming and taking place when it comes to how creative you are with fixing this relationship with the Page of Swords and the Queen of Cups. So if these are, for example, a younger person with air sign energy and a little bit of an older, more mature individual with water sign energy who you're working with, studying with, have had to deal with, I do see here within the 10 of Wands that you're kind of moving on from relationships with people who just always want to be the victim or just only want to gossip, and with whom you're just not clicking with right now because it's more of a burden than it's really worth, and you're overextending yourself here for these 2 people who aren't doing the same for you. So while you will, for example, put your neck out and risk your reputation, they aren't willing to do the same, and it's time that that comes to an end. I see that here in the 10 of Wands. The 4 of Swords here shows me that they're absolutely not going to like that. They're going to feel a lot of regret, and in a sense, they're also so self-absorbed that they won't see the fact that you simply cannot keep on putting in all this work and effort without any reciprocity. So going within is going to be really hard for these individuals, but it's actually going to give you even more confirmation that you're doing the right thing. Then within the Page of Cups, I can see that this will give you a fresh new beginning and just a completely new start, emotionally speaking, where you don't need to constantly put other people's needs before your own, and where you don't have to tiptoe around things, especially if you've had to deal with narcissists, group number 4, or if you see the Page of Swords and the Queen of Cups, if you see some narcissistic individuals being represented in these 2 cards. This will just be so freeing and exhilarating for you to finally be able to just focus on yourself and not have to constantly ask yourself what they're going to think or how they are going to react. Because when we've got these people encroaching on our mental spaces and on our mental capacity, it can become really exhausting, emotionally speaking, very quickly. Next up, we've got the carrot, we've got the pansy, as well as the geranium. So in the carrot, I can see that this brings clarity to you, group number 4, because the less drama you have around you and the less people you're trying to please who will never be pleased, and we know who this is, group number 4. We got the Page of Swords and the Queen of Cups being represented as these people. One person is a bit more childish, immature, and naive, while the other one should know better, but nevertheless, they are pretty self-absorbed, a little narcissistic. You get the picture. So getting rid of these ties will bring you clarity and also will attract healing. I see that in the pansy and the geranium, because you'll finally have time to see things from a sane perspective and to put yourself first, which you should have done earlier, group number 4, just going to be honest with you. But at the same time, we all make these mistakes, right? Where we see things from a viewpoint of feeling guilt or feeling obligation. And that's often the hardest part when it comes to cutting ties with relationships that don't really serve us and actually cause more stress than they bring us joy. But I see here in the Nasturtium that in the end, you will be victorious, group number 4. So there's nothing to worry about when it comes to whether you're making the right choice or not, but it will take a good deal of courage to cut off toxic individuals. I see that here within the time, but know that the time has come, pun, group number 4. But yeah, it is so essential, group number 4, that you don't back out now, especially if you already have this feeling of who this person, these individuals are that are just not healthy for you. Next up, we've got the Star, we've got the Page of Crystals, as well as the King of Crystals. So we've got some interesting things going on down here. In the Star, we have a card of hope. This is a really important card within the major arcana as it corresponds to the sign of Aquarius, and it's all about like a revolutionary start. We have that here with the King of Crystals and the Page of Crystals, which are both earth signs. So we've got Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo energy here, and these are like quote unquote your replacements of the Page of Swords and the Queen of Cups. Dependable people who are level-headed, who are grounded, who are sane. And I see here within the Star that those people and those connections, these friendships, are showing you that real friends will never kind of suck out your energy, suck you dry, run you dry without even noticing, and then on top of it actually having the audacity to feel like you did them wrong. Real friends won't do that. They will want to listen. They will want to be open to hearing your side of the story. And I see in the Page of Crystals and the King of Crystals that that is what you're finding in these two people. And again, the Star is not only about hope and inspiration, but it is also a symbol of generosity, which is being brought to you from these two people. Now, the Page of Crystals is most likely younger than you, a little less experienced, but nevertheless, they're a very sensible individual, whereas the King of Crystals is a bit more mature. They're older. They have definitely spent more years on planet Earth than you have, group number 4. And so their advice really does mean a lot to you, and it does definitely stick out in your memory. So I see that these two people are bringing forth some changes that really give you hope on the horizon and show you that it is so okay to stick to your guns, to stick to your morals and your values and not undermine those for anyone. I see within the Princess of Cups that we also have this kind of new relationship forming between the Page of Crystals and the King of Crystals. So because you're friends with the Page of Crystals and the King of Crystals, you are kind of forming this bridge between them. And this is a connection that may actually end up being romantic. This is one that's just starting off and becoming pretty interesting. So this will be a change, a big change for you to actually have a couple that you're really close to, and you don't feel like you're third wheeling. You actually feel like this is a really healthy couple that you have as friends who you can talk to and vent to, and they'll always give you different perspectives to see things from. Now, in the Eight of Pentacles, I can see here that some big unforeseen changes have to do with your work and your career and how focused you actually are on being the best at your craft, not taking no for an answer, and continuing to grow the establishment that you're working in, and also to grow as an individual, right? To be known as a pioneer, as someone who's creative and inventive, and someone who's really determined and ambitious. As in the Eight of Pentacles, I do see here that you are unwavering and really hardworking, and you're putting your head down in your career and really going in on your craft as a whole, okay? All areas. You're not just doing what is easy, you're also going to learn some new things. So think of going back to school or getting some extra degrees and diplomas just to kind of emphasize that you've put in the time, energy, and money to make sure that you're doing everything in your power to prove to the world that you know what you're doing and that you definitely deserve to be amongst the experts and the professionals in your trade and your field. So make sure you don't overwork yourself. Group number 4. Know here that with some unexpected big changes, definitely comes a need for rest and relaxation, so give yourself that. We are now nearing the end of your reading, and I really hope that you enjoyed having this special alone time with me and just with yourself, the cards, and spirit too. Leave a little carrot emoji below in the comment section if you've made it through your whole reading and you've enjoyed it. I know I certainly have. I love reading for you. I love taking my time and figuring out absolutely all the messages that the universe and your guides have for you. Furthermore, make sure that you subscribe to my channel and follow me on Instagram, because I have a really amazing project that I'm dropping soon that I've been working on for 2 years. It's been so hard. There have been so many tears and struggles and so much sweat, but I'm so happy to announce that it's finally actually coming to fruition. So make sure that you watch the space, group number 4, as I'm sure you're going to want to be part of this amazing new project that's coming out, and I'm sure you're going to be really excited about it. So group 4, thank you for being here, for sharing this divine time and space with me. For any further resources, check the description box. And thank you so much for being here, for spending this divine time and space with me. I appreciate you so, so much. And I'll catch you during one of my upcoming predictions.